Hello, my friends and fellow metalheads and metal enthusiasts. This is Jake, welcoming you to another episode of Wasted Attention. We have a very special episode today. We got Rob Arnold of the Elite, of the Disaster, formerly of Chimera, formerly with a question mark. Nothing set in stone. I don't think they're done, but I think we're all hoping that they get back together and start kicking some ass again. I can't be the only one that thinks that, right? Anyway, this whole podcast, if I'm coming clean, this whole podcast has just been a scam, an elaborate ploy, if you will, to get Rob on the podcast. So that we got him on, I guess all that's left to do is hang it up. Because how do you top this shit? You don't. We've hit our fucking max point already. We're done. But just to give you guys a behind-the-scenes kind of look at this, we did our first episode on the Elite's Total Destruction. We tagged Austin and Rob on Twitter. And by the grace of Rob Halford, they reached out and listened to it and seemed to like it. So when it came time to do our Pantera ranks, we reached out to them, asked them if they wanted to submit theirs, let everybody know favorite tracks, what the order of albums were for them. And sure enough, they came through for us. So naturally, the next band to really do was Metallica. So I reached out and I said, if you want to come on and do maybe a phone call, fucking bring it, dude. And sure enough, he followed through. He's like, yeah, I'm down. So we made our schedules work. And this episode's all over the place, man. But it was Metallica that kind of brought us together. And we're going to get questions about Chimera, share some stories, and dude talked to us for almost 2 hours. So from the way it sounded, it seemed like he could have even went longer. But I didn't want to take up too much of his time because talking to us for 2 hours is 2 hours he's not making music. So we apologize for that in advance. Sorry, guys. So before we get into this, if you haven't checked out the Total Destruction album review, go back, check that shit out. Listen to our Pantera ranks if you want. And then, rate us and subscribe. If you guys are probably watching this on YouTube, next time we get Rob on, leave us some comments. If we get some good questions, we'll ask them. Just like and subscribe to us. Then, we got this on SoundCloud too. We only have the Total Destruction album review on SoundCloud. If you guys listen on SoundCloud and prefer that, let us know. We'll start posting all our episodes on there. But without further ado, let's talk to Rob fucking Arnold.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another weekly episode of Wasted Attention. And today is a much more exciting day than it is usually because we have a special guest on today. And for those of you who may not know, well, should we make people guess or should we just get to it? Like, is this kind of like a foreplay thing? Do you want to give them clues or something?
Jesus Christ, we're gonna play charades.
We can give them clues.
Well, all right. Here's a fun fact because I think I've mentioned this guy on the each episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
So we got a theme going on here. So do the honors, Animal?
What?
Introduce the dude.
Well, I thought we were going to go into questions. Anyways, it's fucking Rob Arnold, okay? Okay, we can't do the game. It's Mr. Rob fucking Arnold. You may know him from many bands such as Chimera, yes, and most recently The Elite. Thanks for coming on, Rob.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. That was too much of a build-up. People were like, oh, my God, who's it going to be? Is it going to be, Arnold Schwarzenegger? Is it going to be the president? No, it's just Rob Arnold. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, man.
But hey, thanks. I appreciate all the love and appreciate all the mentions throughout the episodes. And that episode you did on the Elite, that was incredible. That was a fun listen for us. And so just excited to talk about anything that comes up.
Well, I can't believe you guys actually checked it out. That was huge for us. I was like, man, what the hell's going on?
Right.
That was the first one we actually put out. So
yeah.
I don't know.
That was cool. It was great. It was great for us
awesome,
guys in the Elite to know that there was dudes spending that much time checking out the stuff and taking it in. And like I said, you do get it because, we know it's a deep listen and we appreciate people that take the time to get into it.
That's awesome. It's weird coming from an amateur standpoint of a podcast. When you tag a band, when you're talking about them or you do an album review, to be honest with you, Rob, you don't really expect to even get a like these days. You know what I mean? But for someone to actually reach out to us specifically, it means more than you can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, good. You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours.
There we go.
So, I had something to mention. Now I forgot.
Well, let's just kind of get in. Let's kind of.
So if we're gonna talk about Metallica, what I was thinking, it's really in your court because we could do it. We're just gonna do like the first 5 albums because it seems like the most important, the influential ones. Now,
sure.
We're gonna rank them, but do you want to go in chronological order or do you want to do like a from a bottom to top kind of list?
Ooh, I didn't do that.
Ooh,
Oh, you guys are amateur.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a preference or whatever, but I suppose so. So we're just gonna just talk about whatever from every album. If that's the case, then maybe just go in order, or what, you know.
Yeah, let's go in order.
That's fine.
Sounds good.
Okay, because yeah, I don't have a plan. Because when we did the Pantera one, we just did we don't have to go through each individual track. Probably just some of the favorite shit that you like, some of the songs that stand out to you. But what was the first album that you listened to from Metallica?
I think that you remember like BMG and Columbia House, where you could get the 12 CDs
Oh,
for
yeah.
a penny,
Yeah.
sort of thing back in the day. I think in my first order, I got both Ride the Lightning and Puppets, and you know, didn't really know much about Metallica, but was like, oh my god, you know, just like everybody else hearing those albums. Of course, this is probably in like 91 or something, like. Yeah, right around, I discovered them, got those albums, and then right around that same time, the Black Album came out. But so I just went out and got that right away, and just started collecting their stuff. Went out and got Kill 'Em All. I remember my dad taking me to get it, and him being like, well, "What's up with this cover? You sure this is okay for you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course it's okay." You know, he's like, "All right." You know, so it was cool, you know, seeing like a Hammer and Blood on Kill 'Em All like that. But so I just absorbed them all. Then oh, there's another album, and Just for All. I just kind of got them all, probably within the same couple months, and then just wore them out, tapes, CDs. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
So I just consumed it all at the same time, I think, you know, and it was an overload. But at that same time, not everybody's got stories like this in different ways, but at that same time, right at that moment, also Megadeth, Pantera, Slayer, because of BMG, Columbia House, or whatever, you could get all this stuff at once. But I think that a big difference is people sat and listened to those records and checked out the booklets and really got into them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it meant so much more than just how fast food music is today.
That new booklet smell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't have
For
people
sure.
on any social media telling you, "Oh, this album sucks. Don't look into it."
Yeah,
like
it's all word of mouth, tape trading and shit. Yeah.
Exactly. You respected it. You know, you're sitting in your room, like Rob said. You're looking at the booklets. You're looking through the lyrics. You're looking through who wrote the songs, and it's just you got completely absorbed. I don't think that's possible these days, unfortunately, anymore.
It isn't. Yeah, there really isn't a booklet. I mean, yeah, you could get the CD, you can go out and do that, but so many people aren't. But I mean, even like just seeing the band members in the CD booklets, what they were wearing, getting into other bands because of that. You know, like,
Those high tops.
what's Obituary?
Right.
This guy's got an Obituary shirt on or something. You know, just stuff like that. Yeah, that's gone, and oh well. You know, I mean, times are going to change, and you got to accept it. But you know, but yeah.
That's like see, when you mentioned the shirts, because I remember James wearing the Faith No More shirt. I remember the Misfits shit, and you just go back and look at all that shit. I mean, I guess it's cool nowadays because you go back and do Spotify, you ain't got to worry about all that shit. It kind of makes it easier, but there's so much stuff out there. It's like, where do you divide your time at?
Right. What mood you're in, you know? So
I think it just meant more because you didn't have access to everything, and if you went and actually paid $12-15 for a CD, you know, you were earning that money, and it meant more. You checked it out, you got into it, rather than just being able to throw it away and move on or push next.
Yeah,
Exactly
even if you didn't like it, you're gonna listen to it a few times to find something.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Well, so what about you guys? When did you discover them in Metallica, and did you get into a reverse order? Like, because I think a lot of people heard of Metallica from the Black Album, obviously, and then just went in reverse order. You know.
Yeah, that was definitely the case for me. Because God, when that came out, I must have been probably about 5 or 6, and that was the first album I remember like my parents just like kind of blaring at the house and shit. So I remember just playing air guitar to it, singing at like 6 years old. So it wasn't. I didn't get back into like the older stuff. My dad had all the old CDs, Justice and Kill 'Em All and all that shit, and I just never paid attention to them until probably, God, it must have been around 99 when S&M came out. I heard The Thing That Should Not Be. I was like, what the fuck is this? I never heard this before. And then I went back and you find out it's on Master of Puppets. It's like, holy shit, I got to get into this shit. And then that's when all, I spent so many years just, listening to Metallica, playing it. I went out and got the tab books, and it was like when I was first learning guitar, that's all I did. I didn't have lessons. You just sit there in your room. I didn't have much of a life, so what else are you gonna do besides play guitar and listen to Metallica? Yeah. That's it. That's how it started for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Ivan?
Hearing the stuff off the Black Album on the radio and stuff like that, and then my first CD of Metallica that I owned was Ride the Lightning. It was given to me by my aunt's boyfriend at the time. And then this is all around the same time around the Black Album, like around early 90s, like 91, 92. And then I got a cassette tape of Kill 'Em All. Probably about 93-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a Walkman cassette player.
Yeah.
So I remember
Yeah.
like sitting there, and I'm terrible with lyrics. I'll like hear something and I'll hear it completely wrong. I remember sitting on my bed, listening to the tape and singing, and my dad comes in. He's like, "What are you saying?" I was like, "Man, whatever. You don't understand. Get out of here." You know?
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
That's awesome. I guess
What
it's
do
on
you
to
got?
me.
Yeah.
Me?
What you got,
So
Adam?
mine's kind of a weird scenario. Back when I used to see my dad on the weekends and stuff, I would see my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
My cousins were the huge metalheads, and I kind of grew up. My dad was into like R&B and hip hop and stuff, so kind of got that influence. But also from my cousins, I was getting the metal influence. And we had literally just went and saw, because it was like a big weekend. We were going down to Lake Monticello, which is like, it's a shithole, Rob, by us, but it's a classic for us. It's all we could do out here. But we went and saw Last Action Hero at the movie theaters,
Oh,
right?
good shit.
Remember that movie? So
Yeah.
we, in the beginning scene, when they're going up on the drug house, they were playing Trust from Megadeth. And I remember in the theater, my cousin was like freaking out. He's like, "Oh, it's Megadeth." And I was like, "Oh, this sounds really, really good." But it looks like you're going to say something.
No, you mean it's not Trust. It's
Oh, shit, it's not. You're right.
hold on, it escapes me. My dad used to play this all the time. It's a badass song.
Angry Again?
There you
Angry
go.
Again.
Thank
Thank you, Rob. God
I,
damn it.
I almost had to sing it for you.
Jesus Christ. That's pretty bad.
Is
man.
it Angry Again?
It
It
is
is,
Angry
yes.
Again. Yes, you're absolutely
Dude,
right.
I was sorry to interrupt your story, but I just heard that song about a half hour ago. I went to the studio this morning where I work every day, and it's about a half hour from my house. Because of the snow, I couldn't even get into the parking lot. Like, they hadn't plowed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
holy
And
shit.
so I turned around and came home, and I just made it home by 11:30 when I was supposed to call you guys. But the song that was on the radio when I was pulling in was Angry Again. And I didn't want to get out of my car. It was on
That's
Sirius
awesome.
XM.
That's awesome.
Yes, and all this stuff. So, and I don't even remember that from Last Action Hero. I just happened to throw it out. Like,
Oh,
you're
that's
like,
too
yep,
funny.
that was it.
That's perfect, man. That is absolutely perfect. Man, we wouldn't have known what it was. We would have skipped that.
No, my
until,
dad
like-
used to play it all the time. I think he got that the Last Action Hero soundtrack because of that fucking song.
Yep,
He
that's
used
to
to
say,
play,
that's
play
what
it
they
all the
did.
time. The cool thing was it had those two Alice in Chains tracks on
They
it
did.
too.
Fucking
What the Hell Have I and that other
Yeah.
one too. Yeah,
That's
so.
good, man.
Finish your story, Em.
So, anyways, long story short, we went and saw that movie. I liked the song. We went and bought the soundtrack, and then on the way down to the lake, my cousin was like, "Oh, if you like Megadeth, you're gonna like this," and it was the Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it blew me away. The first, because it was left off, because it was a tape. It was "The Struggle Within" was the first song I heard. From
Oh,
them.
really?
It's like, oh my god,
Really?
like, yeah. I've heard the name Metallica, but I never knew what it was, and that kind of just hooked me. Like Black Album for sure. I just kind of rode that for as long as I could. Then it went to Puppets and Justice, and then I kind of was like kind of in the middle because I didn't know what other albums were out there. Because when I was at home with my mom, she wasn't like bumping anything like that.
Nothing.
So when
nothing metal.
S&M came out, it was kind of for me like a greatest hits. And so then I was like, oh, so I remember writing all the songs down. And then like Jake said, you find out, oh my God, thing that should not be was on Puppets. So let me check out Puppets. And it went on and on and on. And here we are, man.
That's crazy.
So don't tell Dave, but it's because of Dave Mustaine that I got into Metallica.
He was your gateway to Metallica. Just in
No,
the
that's
wrong
not
way.
good. I love Megadeth though.
Oh, Megadeth's awesome.
Yeah.
But before we
Yeah.
get back into these five main ones, is there anything that you take away from like Load era on? Does it even matter? Do you like any of the songs at all?
For me, over time, I was mad at them when they came out. I'm sure the Load came out, I was mad at it. I bet like a lot of people. Actually, Arnold from Chimera and I remember sitting in his parents' driveway, and we tuned into the radio station that was going to be playing like the first or something, like, and then the album was going to be available that night or something like that, you know? So,
Right.
and just listening to it and being like, oh man, what is this? This sucks, like compared to what we were expecting. And then the same thing happened years later with Saint Anger. Obviously, you know, when that one was coming out, everybody was like, oh, it's going to have blast beats. They're screaming. You know, it's supposed to be the next heavy thing, and Metallica was going to return. And then, obviously, first thing you hear is that snare drum and stuff, and you're like, what is this? I actually thought it was a joke from Metallica. I thought that they were so smart that they leaked that first just to throw people off.
Oh man.
And then they were going to put out a real album a couple days later, but obviously that never happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
But But so I was mad at Load when it first came out, but years later now, I think there's some cool songs for sure. You know, Fuel, how can you deny that rocks, you know?
Yeah.
There's some good tunes on those, but certainly they're nothing like the first 5 albums, you know? But then there are guys that are older, way older than us, that they talk about the Black Album.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so but I think the majority of Metallica fans would agree that the first 5 albums are where the gold is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I fucking like whenever I'm at work and like I need to get in the pickup to go, you know, jump a truck or something like that. There's a Load CD in the CD player. I always blare that fuck.
I like Load better than Reload, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
if you had
absolutely.
to choose between them.
Because when I was reading about it, I think they had like 28 songs when they were getting ready to do Load and Reload. So I think Reload's all B-sides, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think so.
Which was more commercially successful, which is weird.
Is it really?
Yeah. Look at all the singles off of Reload compared to Load. They did videos and shit for Reload, like a couple of them, right? The Memory Remains. They did a music video for Fuel. They did another one for The Unforgiven 2, which is now The Unforgiven 7, I think, if we're on track right now.
Did you listen to the last? What's the name of this one?
Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Yeah. Did you take anything away from that one? Because I listened to it once, and I should go back to give its due justice, but I just haven't.
Are you talking about the song or the album?
The album.
Album, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so many albums and so many bands. A lot of the time, it's when you get into them.
Yeah.
You know, like what I think is cool. Recently, I've been seeing videos online of young bands covering songs from Hardwired, and I just never would have thought of that. You know, like that. Wow, this is when they're getting into them, and these kids love these albums. You know, they may not even care about Ride the Lightning and stuff like that, but they're younger, and it's when they got into it, and now they're covering songs from Death Magnetic and Hardwired and stuff, and that's cool that people are loving these albums like we love those early ones. Yeah. You know, but it's all about when you get into it. So, but for me, yeah, I mean, it's just not the same anymore. I know I sound old and jaded, but it's just not the same. The production's killer of Hardwired, and you know, there's definitely some cool stuff, some cool riffs, some cool songs, but it just doesn't have what those first albums did for me. And this probably comes down to when I got into it, like so many other people, of course, you know.
Yeah, because we talk about this a little bit, but with Metallica and Megadeth, you know, they kind of went their separate ways here and there. They did the commercial side of things, and I always look at a band like Testament. I'm like, dude, I don't think there's any weak albums in their discography. If I'm being honest, you know,
I agree.
I feel like
those guys like maintain their tone, like.
Yeah, I feel like it was an upward trajectory, whereas Metallica's like, well, fuck it, we're going to try this and that. And I look back on Testament so much more fonder now, and I don't know, maybe I'm being that bitter guy too, I don't know. Because Metallica just doesn't hold true for me anymore as much as it used to. I don't know.
I don't know. I think when you're that big of a caliber band and you're putting out more and more stuff, it's like, where do you go? You know, you're going to end up pissing off half the people anyway. You're just going to do what feels comfortable.
Well, this is a cool thing, too. And this is something that Noah brought up when we talked to Noah from Bleed the Sky last week. We were talking about Alice in Chains, and he was saying how dark Dirt was. And I think for good metal, it's got to come from this dark place. It seems like there's got to be that anger. There's got to be something to prove. And I think once you get as high as the Black Album is, like, what do you do after that? You know,
right?
Maybe I don't know. That's the only way I could kind of describe it.
They're also in a different place too, because now they're like they had their stuff was set in stone. Mm-hmm. You know, they're set.
Yeah. Whereas
I totally agree. I say this all the time that the difference that a band will make when they're young and hungry and just drinking and having fun, like let's say those first 3-4 albums from Metallica, even into the Black Album, they have been successful for them. But like, where's the motivation to make that style of music again when it's time to do Saint Anger, Death Magnetic, stuff like that? They're billionaires that just want to hang out with their kids and drive their cars and stuff. You watch Some Kind of Monster, they can't stand Lars and James. The main songwriters can't stand to be in the same room as each other. It seems like that's cooled off a little bit, but at that time, like, where's their motivation to make kick-ass, totally fueled tracks that we all want? It's not there. It's forced. They're trying to force. You know, they have so many people around them, their managers, all those type of people that want to keep that huge money machine going. And so you just have to put out more music. You got to keep it going. We got to keep doing this. We got to play this show. We got to do these tours. We got to make this merchandise. We got to do all this kind of stuff, where it's just not the same as it was when it was actually fun and you wanted to do it because there was this goal, whether it's tangible or not, back then, and so you can't expect bands to produce the same music that they always did. You could say that about Chimera too. Everybody's, oh, you want another Impossibility of Reason? It just can't happen, because that was a certain period of time. Everybody was into certain things at that time and experiencing things in their lives, and you just can't recreate that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, that's well said.
Yeah. Really. Yeah.
Well, it's like, how did you manage to keep? Because I think even with Chimera, like, you guys kind of kept pushing it. Like, you always had that hunger, though, right?
Well, definitely had the hunger was just completely natural on Impossibility of Reason. We never said we're going to make this furious record or anything. That's just what happened at the time. Then when there was some success from that, then I wanted to hone in on what that success was with the self-titled. And I said, oh, okay, people like this progressive or more technical, faster, angry type of stuff. And we could make this all day. Great. People like this. Awesome. Let's do it. And then, but I wanted to make it more technical. And the self-titled for me was kind of like the Injustice for All, where they
Yes.
got a lot more technical, longer songs, more progressive, darker. So I wanted to do that personally for the self-titled. We did that. And then like Andel's coming back for Resurrection. That was a big new spark, but we were still young and hungry, and still had a lot of things we wanted to do, a lot of places we wanted to play, things like that. So, but then around the Infection, you can just hear it in the music now in hindsight that it's slower. I mean, I still enjoy it, it's groovy and all that, but it's slower because a lot of that fuel and that angst or whatever that we had before had dissipated by this time. Now it was kind of like, okay, we have an audience there, and we just relaxed, and then relaxed too much, and guys started falling off, and then the Age of Hell, and Mark tried to get it back with a new group with Crown of Phantoms, and there's certainly that new group honeymoon period where they were, so there's more technicality, more anger there and everything, but so you could just see that wave now in hindsight. And for our particular band, it's not the same for every band, but for our particular band, I think that's a common map that happens, like the fat cat syndrome or whatever, where you get success and it's just not there like it used to be.
Huh.
And that's a benefit to some and a hindrance to others. And for us, it kind of sunk the ship.
That's interesting. I always look, and I'm kind of glad that you brought it up, because that was going to be one of my questions if we were going that way towards Chimera. It's like, with the Infection, I remember us getting that album, and we were all together at the time,
we were all
I believe,
jamming that
and
shit,
we were jamming it, and it just seemed like it still had the aggression, but like you said, it was laid back, but by no means did it decrease the intensity of it. It just almost felt like you guys were keeping up with what was going on. I felt like in that 2008 to 2011 period, everybody was slowing down and kind of letting the note speak for itself and shit, but it's interesting to hear you say that you felt like it lost a little bit of intensity, but I don't know. It's interesting how people perceive different
it,
things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've got the guy who's like responsible for this album on the phone telling me, and I'm like, no, it was still intense. You can't tell me otherwise.
Well, I mean, and that's just my perspective, and in hindsight, like Mark may feel different, Matt may feel different, Jim may feel different. Who knows?
Right.
But that's just my perspective. That it was never said. It wasn't like, okay, well, things are going great now, so let's just take it easy on this record. It's just not the same. It's just everybody's lives are different than, say, when we were making Pass Out of Existence,
right?
Or the Impossibility. And so it was just what came of it. So in hindsight, I now think, okay, that you have to buckle down and work harder every record if you want to keep making the material that it seems that your fan base really, really wants, but you can never make everybody happy. And then there's an approach like Opeth, where they just openly say, like, we don't care.
Right.
It feels great to us.
Right.
So
I do
as
like
an artist, you just kind of go with what you go with, and it really comes back to that you just can't please everybody. So you just got to do what you think feels good, and that hopefully will please your fans, and you put it out there, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Sometimes guys put out a record that they did go totally lax on. They think, whatever, I'm just going to make one. It ends up being some huge success.
Right.
Just because there's some song that really people like. So you just never know. And so, like I said, everything I'm saying here is just in hindsight. As I can look back now, years later, at the progression of the band and where we were at certain times and the albums we were making, I can kind of put this map to it now.
Yeah.
When you guys were doing the Age of Hell, was that since everyone's kind of coming and going? I think Ben Schigel did the drums on that one, right?
Yeah.
How was the writing
Yeah.
process on that? Since you guys, it seemed like you guys were kind of, it felt like you guys were going to go in a separate direction after this. Was the writing process kind of hard for you guys?
If I remember correctly, I think that I had written half the songs myself, and then Mark had written half the songs himself, and just kind of separately. And that's another whole aspect of being in a band and writing and all that kind of stuff, and my feelings on that, about how different albums, a different sound and everything come from guys being in a room together and lots of brains working together on the material, and everybody being able to put their 2 cents in and talk about the process. And when you're writing together as a group, it's everybody's more satisfied with the end result because everybody got to say what they felt as it was happening. Like, you don't move on to the next part until everybody's kind of like, okay with this part, or at least I'll accept it and keep moving on. If somebody has a big problem, they talk about it and they say it. Things evolve and change, and people feel a part differently. Oh, let's slow this down, or let's speed this up, and you talk about that and you make the song happen. Whereas where it's one guy making it on a computer, like so much music today, none of that happens. Great music can still happen with one or two guys just making it on a computer, but it loses that naturalness and the rawness and the spontaneity that comes from not using a computer and having to rely on your brain to remember the parts, the feels, and I didn't like that crash there. Next time it comes around, or next time Steph talk about it, I'm going to talk about how I think you should be playing a China there, or I think this would groove harder on the hat rather than on the ride. And you could talk about that, where when it's a computer and a drum machine playing at the same time every way, you get used to that. And again, just the spontaneity doesn't really happen. Anyways, now going back to The Age of Hell, so I think I wrote like half of the songs just on my own and in kind of a not happy place. Kind of like, obviously, I'll keep referring to the ship. It was halfway underwater at this point. But Mark and I are like, fuck it, we're going to just keep going. Even though our relationship wasn't the greatest at the time, we're just going to keep going. All right, I'm going to write half the songs at my house. You write half the songs at your house. We'll meet together. And then Ben was still feeling good and wanting to be creative about everything we had said. All right, well, we'll probably get Austin to play live with us, but we hadn't written any music with him at this point, and we didn't know how that was going to go, so we didn't want to just take a chance at bringing him on to write the album with him at that point. But we had been making music with Ben since we all went to high school together, since we were 15, 16 years old. We knew Ben was super capable. He's a totally rad drummer. And so we're like, let's just have you write the drums with us on this album. And he said, sure. But basically, when Mark and I had written these songs, we had already had like our own programmed drums in there that Ben used as a template, and then put his own spin on them. But still, it makes a difference when a drummer doesn't write his own parts to a song, or where he hears, the downbeat, or where he hears the snare should land. If it's just given to you from a computer, it's already in your brain that's how it's going to be, which is a whole other subject as well. But so anyways, Ben played with us on that one. He ripped it, and but it was just a totally different writing style and mentality and formula than anything in the past. And each album had changed as computers come into it, and you can relate this to all bands. And I really think that is a huge reason why music is so different today than it was even 20 years ago, and obviously before that, all relating back to what I said about how the music is written and the amount of brains that are involved and the fact that a computer is involved.
Yeah. Yeah, when you said the ship was kind of half sunk, was it you guys not getting along anymore, or was it like the business side kind of dragging you down, or just not working out the way you guys kind of thought it would?
Probably an accumulation of all those things.
One kind of affected the other, probably.
If the band isn't healthy, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was saying one probably led to the other, or kind of the business not helping you guys out kind of made you a little resentful towards everybody, or I don't know. One probably fed into the other, I'm assuming, right? Exactly.
And if one part of the engine isn't healthy, it can affect other parts. An engine can still work, maybe if one part isn't working, but everything is not working to potential at that point. So if the energy and the internal happiness of the band isn't really there, then the business will suffer because not everyone is focused on the business like they should be, and people's minds are in different places. So yeah, just things just kind of started degrading, probably because we weren't getting along as well anymore. And who knows what that is. It's probably just natural. You've been living together, and doing things for years and years. And some bands can hang on and it's all hunky dory, or they can make it through. And we're just one of those bands where it didn't work that way. We just couldn't hang on. So,
well, at least from the live aspect, it never seemed that way.
So, sorry. What's that?
I said, at least from the live aspect, it never appeared that way. You guys definitely treated it like a business and always seemed on your A game. I can tell you that much.
Good. Well, I'm glad. And we cared about that. And we always had a strong work ethic and always wanted to look and sound great and be totally pro, tight, all that. And I'm glad that people noticed that. But yeah, I guess it became too much or something. But once internally, once the relationship started breaking down, then yeah, kind of like I was saying before, like people aren't as focused on the business of it, or you let things slide that maybe you wouldn't before, and it just kind of started breaking down, and just kind of really fell apart. I kind of over the past years have been trying to bury all that, and then it all got brought up again when talk started happening for the reunion show. But I think kind of buried a lot of, if I had talked about what I'm talking about right now 6 years ago, it'd be coming out of my mouth a lot differently than it is right now, where I'm kind of just laxed and over it right now.
Right.
Yeah. And I know it's a shame, and Mark and I talk all the time about what we want to do with this, because is there still gas in the tank? Do we really want to keep going with it? So many people want it, and that's fantastic. But is it there anymore? Because people have just, the band has kind of moved on from it, just because it was a painful breakup back then. And we don't know. We may do something, we may not. I don't know if that's the point of the question was to find this out or not, because I don't really know. We don't know the answer. We're just kind of taking it slow, and we'll probably do another reunion show. And that's what's good, is that there are no hard feelings right now or anything. Everything's cool. Everybody's cool, but no one's really taking the bull by the horns and saying, let's go out and do this thing.
Oh, really?
So even not doing a Christmas show this year was kind of just like, or this past Christmas was kind of just like, nobody really wants to take that bull by the horns and start setting it up to put it together, because there's a lot of work to put together.
Oh, sure.
To do all that. And then at the same time, we also wanted to keep it, keep people guessing, not let people just think that there's going to be one every year, so there's a little more demand to it. Maybe we'll do one this upcoming year, and we don't want people to get complacent and not travel from distances to come in because they think they can just see it anytime they want. So we're just going to keep you guessing.
Yeah. Well, that was my kind of take from it. I assumed you guys might do maybe one or two Christmas shows here and there, like every so often. So I don't know, just to kind of hear. I don't know. I guess we were hoping against hope that something would happen. I know everybody was talking about the new album, but you guys got to be there mentally. You guys got to be there. Everyone's got to be all in on it to take it any further, I guess.
And that's not off the table. A new album, we maybe even a song or something like that, just to test it out, see what the reaction's like, and maybe that'll be enough to spark it again. And we do something, but just kind of taking it slow right now. No real hurry for anything. And I know that's not what the fans want to hear, but that's just the reality of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
That was a great show too, by the way.
Yeah, it was well worth freezing our ass off.
Waiting outside for a while.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what that weather's like today. What you guys all experienced driving in, that was crazy.
Oh, we're feeling it here too.
Last year.
It's fucking Midwest. Midwest.
You guys are getting it right now in Chicago, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We haven't. Like, it was like right before Thanksgiving. It was like just a little bit of snow, and then over the last week, the temperature started dropping, and we got hit pretty hard yesterday and a little bit of today, and it's just like, like at that lull of January, man. Like for us out here, there's like not like a crazy ton of shows going on. There's not like a lot of good movies coming out. You feel like you're just kind of trapped and you can't do shit.
Sit around and make some music, I guess.
Yeah, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you
always
mentioned
got that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mentioned maybe doing a song in an album. Man, I don't know. I don't know how to put this, but I feel like even Bleed the Sky's kind of doing this. They're gonna, they're gonna record the album, put the CD out. I guess see how the reaction is, and I guess you figure out touring from there in nowadays climate. It seems like, right?
Yeah. If you don't have a record deal, which I don't know if Bleed the Sky does or not, I don't know if they're going to just like fund the recording process themselves and put the CD out there. Do you know that?
Yeah,
They're doing
doing it on their
independent.
own.
Yeah. He said, "Fuck the
Yeah.
labels."
So if you're doing it independently, I think you have to put the product out there and then just start working it. Whereas if you have a label, that plan is in place beforehand. Okay, you guys are going to make the record. While you're doing that, we're already setting up the tour so that you can go out and promote this thing or whatever. And I think that for the independent band and the resources that an independent band has, that's just too much to take on all at once to try to do. At least that's my case with the Elite. Yeah, the only thing I can only do one thing at a time, and that was first to put out the record. It still took a long ass time, much longer than it should have. But the reality punched me in the face of what it takes to really put out a record. Where before, when the label was behind you doing it, as an artist, you don't have to think about those things. Everybody else is taking care of it, and all you have to do is write great music, and then record great music. And if you can do that, everything else will take care of itself. If you have a label behind you doing all that kind of stuff, so independently. Hopefully the Sky can see it through and go tour on it and all that kind of stuff. They are going to face a challenge just like I'm facing right now, and that's Austin, their drummer. Is tied. So many bands share Austin because he's such a phenomenon. But I don't know what they're going to do either because he's tied up and has a lot of commitments with Double Driver, and that's a great gig for him that he obviously doesn't want to compromise in any way. So they're going to face that issue that I face right now as well, too, as we try to get together for rehearsals to try to put something together to get out on the road with the Elite. We're met with that challenge. And it's okay. You just got to work around it and figure it out. But we haven't yet. And I wonder if they will. And we'll see. But I'm excited about a new Blue Sky.
Oh, but how has the reaction for the Elite been so far? How's it been working out for you?
It's been killer. It's been everything that we could have hoped for and more. People's reaction to it, and just like from guys like you and the way they talk about it and stuff, and they realize that it's cool and it's real and that it's something different, hopefully refreshing for everyone. And those are the types of comments that we're getting, and that's killer. And we'd love to go out and play on it, and that's what it's going to take to spread the word of it more. I think I've exhausted the reach right now through Facebook and the little social media stuff that I've tried to tackle. And I'm not like a social media guy. I'm not like it's actually quite a lot of work for me to do, just everything that I've done just to put the stuff out there, because I never had to think about that stuff before. Because I was saying I was just had the right music. Now all of a sudden there's a huge new thing I got to tackle with social media and promotion and everything that I don't know that I'm cut out for. And it's been difficult and a ton of work. It's fun at times and stuff, but anyways, at any rate, I've exhausted that, my reach with that, and it just comes back to the nuts and bolts of the music business and being in a heavy band is that you got to get out there and promote it, and then word of mouth will work for you. So just kind of in this holding pattern right now while we're trying to figure out really the next step and how to really get it out there and take it to the next level and have a lot of people hear it. And I think that once people do hear it, well, this is the name of the game with anything, any product, any band, whatever. Just a lot of people got to hear it. And if it's great, everything will take care of itself. And if it isn't, then you spin your wheels and try again or give up. But we're confident with the record. You just got to get behind it and get it out there.
For sure.
Well, to the masses.
No, once you guys get the whole drummer situation, what is more of a financially viable option for you guys? Are you looking to maybe do a self tour, or are you just looking to like possibly get on like another tour that's going on, any festival shows in the US? Like what would be the next step for you guys?
I think playing one show would be the first step.
Okay.
Seeing how that goes, just getting our feet wet with that. And then I guess as I sit and daydream about this stuff, I picture just doing headlining shows, just small shows, like, because the name of the game when you're a young new band is to just be the support act for larger bands that you can play for their audience, hopefully retain some of their audience. And you do that enough times where eventually you do a headlining tour, and those people that you've gained through all those support tours will come and see you and buy your merchandise and your CDs, and it can grow from there. And so that's the typical way. That's what Chimera did. We started out supporting bands and then finally started headlining on our own.
Yep.
But with this, I just like the thought of but with Chimera, we were trying to build. We wanted each tour to be bigger. We wanted to have the enormous audiences to be our own. And that's what every band wants. But I think realistically with the Elite, I picture just playing just small headlining shows and not doing the typical approach. But I don't know if that's possible or not. I haven't been in the game now for years. I just don't know. So I think just doing the first one and gauging success of that, just here in Cleveland, and then that will open up doors. The guy, Chris D, who works for EIG here, who put on the Chimera show at the Agora, he wants to do one with the Elite. He says anytime the door's open, and then he also has connections for regional stuff. So we would just kind of start like that. Maybe hit Detroit, Chicago, Louisville, New York, things like that. And if those are going well, then it'll just expand and opportunities start coming your way once you're out there doing stuff, where if you're not out doing anything, opportunities aren't knocking.
Right.
So like I said, getting out and doing one is just the first step, and we're into just seeing where it can go.
Yeah.
Well, shit, when it comes to Chicago, if there's anything we can do to kind of help you guys promote, if you want to, anything we kind of do to help you out, we'll definitely, spread the word. We don't have like connections for shows or anything, but anything we can do to help you, man, let us know.
I appreciate that. See, look at this. Opportunities are already knocking. All you got to do is talk about it.
Exactly. There's a lot of good venues out here, a lot of smaller ones, and shit. Remember, when was the last time we first saw Chimera? Wasn't it at Oasis 160?
Oasis 160,
like
yeah.
2002.
I remember that place.
Do you remember that? Oh
Dude,
my
man,
god, what a
was our
shithole that
favorite
was!
place to go.
Oh, it was forever ago. I snuck out of my house that night. My mom beat my ass when she found out that I did that. I was like, it's Chimera.
That was a killer show. I remember Mark. He had his dreads.
You did?
Yeah. And he was like, they called me the Metal Moses, and he's like, I wanted to spread right down the middle, and then everybody moved over. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be intense. And they just slammed into each other.
What other bands were on that show?
Was it 40 Below
Motogrator?
Summer and
Was
Motogrator?
there?
Oh,
I don't remember if Motogrator
40
was
Below
there.
and who?
Motogrator?
Motogrator.
Was it Motogrator?
I know we
'Cause-
saw
Maybe.
them there a lot.
Yeah.
That was Ivan Moody's.
Before Five Finger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember Motogrator.
They
Yeah,
used
they
to
were on
paint
the
themselves.
Ozfest that we did
Yeah,
with
yeah,
them
they
in
were.
03. And that's how we met Ivan and all those guys. And then done lots of shows now with Five Finger and stuff. So that was cool. We're always proud of Ivan to see what he's done.
Hell yeah,
because
man.
he kept going.
He
Big
did.
time,
He
but
really did.
I don't remember any specific like off shows or that we did. Like, I'm not saying that we didn't play with them at the Oasis. I just don't remember them being on there. But what were you gonna say?
Yeah, shit, that was just so long ago.
Maybe
man.
it was.
I think
them,
it was.
40 Below.
The problem was with the Oasis 160 for us back then, that was like one of the only venues we could all get to because I think we just first started driving and stuff, and it wasn't in the city.
Yeah, we were teenage.
So it was like, I think we saw like Spine Shank, Kitty, Chimera twice,
Mushroom Head.
Motogrator,
Yeah.
Mushroom Head, all of like those bands, man. And now it's like, Jesus, it's everywhere. Like there's this like little local bar up the street from us, like a year and a half ago, Cannibal Corpse played there. And it's like in a million years, I wouldn't imagine like coming to Portage, Indiana, Cannibal Corpse and Cattle Decapitation. It's crazy.
Nice.
What's
Nice.
what's
What
that
big
place?
city area is nearest?
So we are just about 45 minutes south of Chicago. So we're located right over the border in Indiana.
Yeah,
We've always
northwest.
been lumped into Chicagoland region. So we're Northwest Indiana is what they call it.
Northwest Indiana. Okay.
So like there's City of Crown Point, Hammond, Whiting,
Gary.
Highland, Gary. Yeah, we're real
Gary's
close to
pretty
Gary.
popular.
Gary.
Yeah,
I
come
remember
visit. You'll never leave.
Yeah.
that.
It's famous for all the wrong reasons.
No, yeah. It'd be like one of those cities we'd always pass by, like on a turnpike, maybe.
Okay.
Something
Yeah.
going through
Yeah.
Gary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. No, it's
Michael
good to get
Jackson's
good shows,
from
man.
Gary.
And it's cool to see the Corpse is still going too.
Yeah,
I just heard that Pat's not going to do the tour, but
They just got Rutan.
Pat,
Yeah.
you were Tan, exactly. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Are you
crazy.
guys Morbid Angel fans?
No, I got to go back and listen to him. Shit, Ivan's the dude that's in the death metal most. He's our Cannibal Corpse expert.
Yeah, I like can't. Well, I wouldn't say expert. I kind of fell off for a while, but I think Kill was like the last album I was like really into.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good shit.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked for Rutan. He's been doing good things, producing a lot. But when we toured with him at Hate Eternal, and he would always just play us Morbid Angel riffs backstage and stuff. Almost all the Chimera guys were huge Domination and Covenant fans, which Rutan was on. And so he'd play those riffs, and he's just a funny guy.
Awesome.
I'm happy for him that he got this gig. I hope Pat's doing okay. Obviously, I don't think anybody really knows what's going on with that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
Everybody thought he was going to do the tour, right?
Yeah, it was a rough spot for him, man. I hope that this ends up being positive. Obviously, he's got some personal issues going on, but it's one of those things like with our website is that like we follow all the big ones, but we typically don't like report on the negative kind of stuff as news because we kind of figure we're still so amateur at this point that
What the fuck do we know, right?
yeah, exactly. Number one and number two is that we don't want to seem like we're one of those gossip sites. We're just kind of like, I used to do this a couple of years ago and it got a little bit of a following and then it kind of fell off. Just now with like my old friends and stuff, what we're trying to do is just be more positive and share things that are going to be more beneficial to the artist. I just feel that with a lot of those news sites out right now, like I can't say them, but just for a fact, it's been proven that they get these guys on, do an interview, and then 2 weeks later, if something negative happens, they're on there talking shit. And we just want to, you know.
It's like even those interviews at like these places like Loudwire and all that shit. It just doesn't have the personality. I don't feel like anybody's really fans anymore.
No.
Hopefully that's what we come across and something we can get out there. And, you know, hopefully out of anything, we just can build this metal community and have everybody kind of share and, you know, just get together, man. That's all I hope. I just want to bullshit about some music.
Exactly.
Who'd have thought we'd be talking to Rob Arnold?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we're not out for
I
clicks.
think you guys have the right attitude
Thanks,
and the
man.
right idea. And you just got to stay on top of it. Push that. If that's what you want it to be and that's what you want to do, build it and they will come. You know. But you got to nurture it. You got to stay on top of it. In this day and age, and I've noticed firsthand, you know, if you just let it go even a week or something like that without staying on top of what you're doing, you can get left in the dust.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
That's true,
stay
man.
on it. I wish you guys the best. Keep it going. And that's good. A nice positive side. Yeah, there's so much clickbait and negativity about this and that. So I hear you.
Appreciate that, man.
So how's Chicago been when you guys were here? A lot of people telling us like Chicago's the scene for metal. How did it treat you back in the day or when you guys came through here?
Always loved playing Chicago. Like we talked about the Oasis. I think one of our first big shows there was at the Aragon with Slayer in like 01. House of Blues obviously played there a million times. So yeah, Chicago's always been great to us. Always good shows, fan base, the food.
Everybody mentions the
so
food.
yeah,
We got
love
the food.
coming to Chicago. So many good times there. Every tour we've ever been on always hits it. And even some of those suburbs that you're talking about. What was that one?
Because we got as far as Illinois goes, I know people come through Peoria. What's the other one? Animal, you know. There's Reggie's Rock Club. I think that's in the city.
Yeah, that's in the city. That's a little bit smaller. But there's like Joliet, too.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Joliet.
There you go.
That's the one I was just thinking of.
Oh,
Joliet.
Mojo's?
Yeah.
It used to be Mojo's at least, or is it Mojo's now?
Well, it's the Forge now.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what throws me off.
It was Mojo's for a while.
I want to say that Chimera played Mojo's once, like kind of near the end. I think Richie went to that one. I can't remember.
Remember when we tried to go see him at the House of Blues?
Oh,
his car didn't go through.
Should we tell Rob that
Yeah,
story?
go ahead. You probably know.
Oh,
one
my
more.
God.
I wish we had Red here for this because
I
we
know.
tried to
Oh,
see
my
you guys
God.
when you came through. You guys were probably touring on the
Resurrection.
I think Divine Heresy was opening up. Who played last?
All That Remains.
Was it All That Remains?
Yeah.
Because we split after you guys played.
Yeah.
But we took
Okay.
the train.
We did.
It was like a last minute decision. Red he put all our tickets on his card, and then we just jumped on the train, got up to the fucking House of Blues.
All right.
We get to will call, and something didn't go through. There were no tickets to be had. Like
no, there was only two.
Was there only two?
So we needed 3 tickets.
Oh,
Rob,
that's
and there
when
was
we were
only
gonna
2.
fucking rock paper scissors to see who gets to go.
So we're gonna tug at his heartstrings. So here we are. We had a pot to piss in. I think we pulled our money together to get on the train. It was like a fucking Sunday night, It was like in February, so it was freezing,
man.
and the girlfriends were mad at us because it was a last-minute decision. So me, Red, and Jake are in the lobby of House of Blues. Red comes up with that face of his. He's like, dude, something happened. There's only 2 tickets, and I don't think you saw Chimera yet.
I didn't. I was gonna kill somebody. I was gonna stab my friends.
You and Red go, it's okay. And then Red was like, no, let's do this evenly. And so we decided to do a rock, paper, scissors. And I think I won, and I was still gonna give you the ticket, Jake. The woman that was behind the ticket booth came out and said, it's a sold out show, but go ahead, go up there. We fucking ran up there because I think they opened with.
Oh well, we completely missed Divine Heresy. We heard them fucking playing their shit. We're like, man, fuck that.
They were closing. That's right. They were closing when we got there.
Yeah, and then there's that setup in between. We're like, I hope we figure this shit out soon. Shit's gonna start. And then sure enough, the fucking glass breaks. Yep. You hear the fucking intro to The Flame. I was like, no.
Right. So anyway, this lady came out and she's like, that just literally broke my heart. You guys can go. And we ran up those stairs, man, and it was packed. I mean, butt to gut. And I remember Red was like, nope, fuck that. And he like got in front of us and was like shoving people out of the way. And we got all the way up on the rail, man. That was like our Detroit Rock City moment.
Yeah. Those guys kicked our ass. They stole our tickets.
That's cool to hear. What year was that, you think? Maybe like 08?
It had to have been, I was thinking 07 or 08.
07 or 08. Like literally Resurrection just had come out.
Yeah, it must have been either winter 07 or...
And we bought that bundle. Then you and I both had the same shirt for Resurrection. And when I pulled up, Jake was like, well, one of us has to change it. I'm not.
Do you remember Red back in the day? He had that lumberjack hat that was mixed with a fucking Santa Claus hat, so it had that ball. All right, so you probably won't remember this, but you're on stage playing, and the motherfucker, our friend Red, held up this dumbass hat that looked like a fucking Paul Bunyan hat mixed with like a Santa Claus hat, and he's getting your attention. You look at him, and he was gonna throw it up at you. You're like, no, you cut that shit off right away. You're like, fuck that. It was funny shit, man.
It's just humbling to know that like you can talk to an artist and they actually care, or like, wow, that's interesting, instead of just blowing you off. So it really means a lot, Rob, for you to listen to hear our hijinks
stories.
No, it's good, man. I love hearing the stories. I love hearing experiences and how people are into the music, or what memories it gives them and all that. So yeah.
Well,
glad to hear, man.
We don't have too much for you, but do you want to go through and talk about these little Metallica albums that we
how you doing
started?
on like time?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm no restraints.
Well, shit. Let's bring up Kill 'Em All.
Okay.
Let's start chronologically.
Okay.
Who do you want? Do you want to go first, Rob, or do you want us to kind of bullshit first?
Oh, whatever. You guys go ahead so I can get a feel for exactly what's going on.
Okay.
All right, Emma, what you got? How you like it?
So I'll tell you right now that Kill 'Em All, to me, now that I'm older, it makes so much more sense. When I, obviously starting off with the Black Album and stuff, you kind of got used to that more commercial groove feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't used to the rough and ruggedness. I feel that Kill 'Em All is so rough, and now in my 30s, I'm like, wow, I really missed out on this whole thing. You know what I mean? It took too long to get into. I used to be a Dave Mustaine hater, and now listening to that album, I'm like, man, because didn't you say he wrote like most of the riffs?
He's got Four Horsemen. He definitely wrote something on. There's other ones on there. I forget off the top of my head, but yeah, he had a lot to do with that album.
So, I mean, I get it. Like, I wish I can be like, dude, go back. Like, you'll get this. Obviously, Four Horsemen I love. Motor Breath was one of my favorites. Jump in the Fire. I mean, like, I'm looking at the track list here. I could literally say something good about every one of them.
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to skip Seek and Destroy because everybody knows
it's the popular one. It's the walk of Kill 'Em All.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a banger, dude.
It is a fucking banger, though. Like, you can't talk shit on that. But if I had to pick like my top 3, Four Horsemen, Jump in the Fire, and Motor Breath, I think that would be my top 3.
That's your top 3.
That's my top 3, man. I think that's
wasn't Sting using Seek and Destroy when he came out, like in WCW? That's all I think about now. Evan, how you feel, buddy?
I agree with him on the Four Horsemen. I had to throw in Anastasia, Pulling Teeth. No Remorse, Seek and Destroy, Motor Breath. And when we were content, we kind of ripped off Jump in the Fire.
Did we?
Oh, yeah. A little bit.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Because we had that riff like dun 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 dun.
Oh, that's all red.
Yeah,
that is.
it was.
Yeah.
What was your favorite? You said you listed a bunch. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, to me this album, like I was listening to it at work last night, and it's real like a thrash punk like album to me.
I get that.
I never picked up on that before. This was always like my least favorite of these original ones, and obviously it's the first one, so you can't hold too much against it. But
Right.
to me, I think Metal Militia is probably the heaviest on there.
Yeah, I get
Would
that.
you agree with that?
Yeah.
And then I think probably the funnest riff on that is probably "Jump in the Fire." You know.
It's got a good little feel to it.
Yeah. But how you feel, Rob? What you got?
Love every song, and that's the problem we're going to have on every record.
Yeah.
Because I love every song.
Yeah.
But it's a good problem. Yeah, always loved Metal Militia. One of the first songs I started playing to, like when I was learning the Kill 'Em All record or any other early Metallica stuff. Jump in the Fire. Obviously, all you guys mentioned that one. And one thing I've always noticed is that's one they kind of overlook live. I mean,
Yeah.
you hear it once in a while, but it's not. You'd think it'd be a staple because it's such a killer tune. Love that one. Yeah, every song. Hit the Lights. Obviously, the Four Horsemen, Totally Rad. And then the Cliff 'Em All video. Obviously, that covers maybe the first 3 records or whatever. But that video and just seeing them live, all that stuff, those early shows, just really cool to see.
Hell yeah.
Such a different vibe, obviously, what it is now, man. It's
You know what's crazy? Because we're about to go into Ride the Lightning. And it's like what we talked on the Pantera album. Like going from Cowboys to fucking Vulgar was night and day. And you're going to hear it. Like I listened to this one too the other night at work. It's like, God damn. Just immediately right off the bat, it's different.
Yep.
Go ahead. Start it,
The
Animal.
solos were a
Yeah.
different take.
Absolutely.
you know, it's kind of hard because you have this buffet of such delicious food, but you have to be picky about it. Honestly, out of these couple beginning ones, this is probably like my least favorite
For the first couple tracks or all together?
altogether for all these albums that we're putting together. I mean, you have to rank them.
I think it's because all the shit that's coming afterward.
Yeah, I think so too. I
Yeah.
think you're right.
So I don't think you're too far off.
I don't know. My thing is I've never liked Fade to Black, and I don't
Really?
I know. Isn't that terrible? I
like
I don't know. I think my cousin just had it on repeat all the fucking time. Like going all the way through and then hearing that like rewinding it and then playing it again all the time. I'm like, I get it. I fucking get it.
Fucking cassettes.
But Fight Fire with Fire is mainly that song I got into because of Ivan, because when I first met Ivan, he was always learning that song and playing on the bass and all that. I thought that was awesome. Obviously, For Whom the Bell Tolls. To be honest with you, my top 3 will be Trapped Under Ice, Escape, and Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, nice.
Call of Cthulhu, the reason why I got into that song is because of an S&M, how they did it. It sounded so amazing that I made sure.
It seems like the perfect song to have like the
Doesn't
symphony
it?
back you up.
Dude.
Oh
That,
my
if
God.
you're gonna have the symphony on any of those songs, that's
Yep.
the one.
So evil. And there's something about Escape that I wanted to bring up a talking point
They
about
hate
it.
that fucking song. Dude.
Why?
Really?
What?
They hate it. I don't know if they've played it since. They might have just because everybody's was like, why don't you ever play that fucking song? He thought it was James. I think thinks it's too commercial
Really?
for back in the day. I mean, don't call me an expert,
Well, you
but I'm
figure
pretty
they play
sure.
it now at least.
Yeah. 30 years, you can at least play it one time.
I like that one.
It's good,
I
it's
actually
catchy.
have that one on my
Yeah.
list.
Well,
They were talking, and it's going to drive me crazy while you guys are talking. I'm going to have to figure this out. There was something that was similar to something else. And I don't know if it was Helmet or what, but something came out recently about that. So I'm going to try and figure that out while you guys are talking.
Ivan, what's your
I wrote
takeaway?
down Ride the Lightning, Fade to Black, Escape, Creeping Death, and For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah. For me, Fade to Black was one, like, I had to sit down and learn that solo. I was like, there's no way I'm not fucking playing this solo.
I think that whole song's fucking amazing.
It's good. I don't know. Animal's just a hater. Don't worry about him. But
Yeah.
fucking Ride the Lightning, those 2 guitar solos, like the harmony and shit, like, you're just like, man, this is really some next level shit. It's like Thin Lizzy on fucking steroids, man.
Yeah. Fucking, that was one of Cliff's favorite bass.
If
I remember
the
right,
part?
it's from Thin Lizzy.
the harmonies and shit?
No, the bass is from Thin Lizzy.
Oh, really? Oh, Phil Lynott. Okay, I got you. How you feel about Ride the Lightning, Rob?
Love it. Love the maturity. Obviously each of their albums progressively gets more and more mature, but the maturity of it over Kill 'Em All. And when I think back about this record, I think it was the one that I really just started playing a lot of the songs from it and learn them a lot. Every day after school, a couple of my buddies, other guitar players, the bass players, could get together in the garage and start learning these songs. And I think like From the Bell Toll, Fade to Black, like you mentioned the solo from that. I don't know if you mean like the main one later on that ends out the song, but even like the little solos over the clean parts, before the first verse or after the second verse. And that was like the start of when Metallica started doing that, where they did that with that one. What's the one off of Puppets?
Sanitarium, Welcome Home?
Sanitarium, yeah, where they had those where, you could start jamming with your buddies. Well, one guy could do the rhythm part, the clean rhythm part, and the other guy could do a little solo over it, So I just remember playing all those with my friends, learning Call of Cthulhu and just jamming that one. We actually called my first band, even though we didn't have a drummer or anything, we called ourselves Guilty as Charged, which is I think the first line in Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
The first lyrics there. But the song Ride the Lightning, one of my favorites of all time, just that intro, killer record all the way through. And then they just keep getting more and more mature,
Oh, yeah.
as you go on.
For me, it was that first solo in Fade to Black, that real sad kind of somber sound. I was like, if I could play this, I'd play that for everybody. That's what I would do. But Master of Puppets, Animal, what you got?
I want to real quick touch base what I was trying to talk about Escape. I had to run upstairs because my wife's taking care of the kids. She was listening to Into the Trivia Pit on Sirius XM. Rob, do you listen to Liquid Metal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I know the program.
Okay. So there's a thing on there where it's you got to pick the riff, and they were playing Cemetery Gates, and that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
This one woman was like, no, that's Escape from Metallica, because she couldn't hear really well.
Yeah.
And so it became this huge thing, and then they were covering it on some of those other sites, like the similarities. And I'm not a guitar player, but the dun 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 dun, that's all that's similar in the beginning. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm gonna have to listen to.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm out of breath because you bastards. That's my fact checking right there. You went upstairs. The kid's like, "Hey, are you done? What's going on?" No, Rob's on the phone.
It's hard to listen to that Into the Trivia Pit sometimes, because when somebody doesn't know something that's so obvious, you're like yelling at your radio, dude, like, how could you not know that's not
right
hostile or something like, But then there are ones that you wouldn't get, that other people would be saying the same thing about you for. So
exactly,
but,
and
like Jeopardy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot harder when you're in the seat there, and especially I feel that if you don't know Pantera or anything, like Jose will like make you feel like such an idiot.
Yeah.
All right, Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets for me is kind of like the Mamba Jamba for me. This was it.
Would you say that's your top one?
Yeah,
yeah. We were talking about this the other day.
Oh, they
right?
told
Okay.
the song.
Oh well, obviously that too.
Shit.
Yeah, shit. This is hard because just like Rob said, I like them all. You know what I mean? Ones that stick out, obviously the thing that should not be, I give credit to S&M for that because oh my god, that's what got me into it. Leper Messiah, I think that's another overlooked one. That's fucking awesome, man. So good.
Is that the one Mustaine said he had something that that was one of the ones that he had some parts in, but Metallica was like, no, you didn't.
No,
I don't know. I didn't hear about that one. If they did, that's interesting.
The thing about that one, I remember specifically sitting in your basement with my CD player on my headphones before practice, because that one always was fun to play on the drums. Off time, that dun, 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 dun. It kind of had that hang time in there. And that always tripped me up. But that was
There's
fun.
always something to catch you off guard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And obviously just Damage Incorporated, man. Holy shit. It was just so like, it kind of brought back that like, how you said on Kill 'Em All had that like kind of punky feel.
Yeah.
I feel like with Damage Incorporated, it kind of had more of that like old school hardcore vibe to it, but also still keeping it metal at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of a mishmash. But I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said about this CD? It's fucking classic. Do I like seeing T-shirts of it in my local Target? No. But,
I was gonna say, I got that same shirt at home.
Oh, you got this one? Oh, I love it. Yeah, I'm wearing a Metallica shirt. Not because we were talking about this today. This is my pajamas. I stink. I'm going to work in a little bit.
Don't lie to everybody.
What? What am I lying about?
Well, you just so happen to wear a Metallica shirt.
I
on the
did.
day we're
This
gonna
was
wear
the only clean thing that I had. It's
okay.
fucking 20 degrees in this basement. My nips can cut diamonds right now, okay? And I didn't brush my teeth yet.
Oh, you didn't have to put that last one in there.
I did.
Hygiene
I
people.
look like a hot mess. Lee, you're lucky I'm not wearing a face mask, man. My
Dude,
wife
I'm the
got-
one that had to get up early and drive all the way fucking out here. At
That's
least
true.
I brushed my teeth and showered.
That's true.
Get out of here. All right. That's neither here nor there. Ivan, what do you got for
Oh,
Master,
man.
buddy?
The comedy. It's great.
Ugh,
I got
fucking idiots.
Master of Puppets, Welcome Home, and Leper Messiah, and Orion.
Nice.
Oh, Ryan.
Orion's
How
awesome.
could you not bring up Orion?
Yeah,
Everybody
How
loves
sick.
Man, that bass part.
everybody
too.
loves that one.
Dude,
Yeah.
Yeah, no
when I
doubt.
was in Metaphysical, we were gonna fucking jam on that, and I sat there fucking grinding it out, learning the song. I learned it, and we never fucking played it. Not even jammed at practice. I was like,
Oh, that's the worst.
yeah.
Dude,
just
did
happened
you
to
do that with
contempt,
the
too.
fingers? And
Yeah.
Well, you already played fingers. Yeah, you
That's-
didn't even have to worry about it. You didn't cheat that shit. Oh, man. Yeah, for me, I'm a deep cut kind of guy on these albums. So, yeah, when you mentioned, like, Disposable Heroes, fucking Rob out of anybody would know Disposable Heroes. Ain't that right, Rob?
Oh man, yeah, that was a challenge, but I think it turned out great. I'm proud of that cover. I don't like doing covers. I don't think they turn out very good, but I'm proud of that one.
Are you
know,
a guy
good.
that likes to keep it, like, note for note, or are you looking to kind of put your spin on it?
No, I personally like note for note.
Yeah.
I've heard some good covers. I generally feel this way about covers. Generally, not all the time, but that like if somebody knows the song, they're looking to hear how well you can do it, and if you don't do it well, it sucks. But if they don't know the song and they think it's yours, they get into it. Like there's a lot of covers that I like that I didn't know that it wasn't that band's own song.
Mhm.
You know, but if I do know it's another band's song, then I'm comparing it and listening, and I don't know. But I like note for note. I like hearing the songs note for note, like live. Like I hate now how Kirk just rattles off notes for the solos. Like, no, dude, I want to hear the one solo the way you played it. You know, like I don't want to hear your just lazy rendition of it now because you didn't feel like, or whatever his thought process is, and I'm mad at him for it.
I didn't even know he did that. And
But,
that's
but
terrible.
yeah.
Well, dude, like, if you heard the solos from these last two albums, it's like he's just fucking playing. I don't feel like he has a goal in mind. You know what I mean?
I heard. I think that he's just a stone surfer now and just doesn't try, or he's done all. And sometimes I think to myself that if I even say these things out loud, that he'll hear them and never take me on tour if I ever had that chance.
Well, as long as Blabbermouth don't fucking.
No, he ain't
pick this
listening.
up.
But yeah, dude, his solos have gotten awful over these past few records.
Oh man,
That's a shame.
Well, what about you guys? Would you like to hear like improvising and stuff like that? Like if let's say Megadeth got back together and you got to go hear all the solos from Countdown to Extinction or Rust in Peace or something like that, would you want to hear Marty improvising, or would you want to hear the solos from Countdown to Extinction or Rust in Peace?
oh man, for me, I was always like a note for note kind of guy, like you were. I think if I ever heard anything different, it threw me off, and I was like, "Fuck this! I don't like this. I don't want to hear you doing your improvisation. There we go. That's the word. But I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people just doing these covers nowadays, trying to put their spin on it. It seems like a lot of bands are getting their due based on it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. How do you feel about that stuff?
You mean like a band getting big because of a cover?
Yeah, because I feel like what broke Five Finger was that Bad Company fucking song. Not that they didn't have songs before, but I feel like that's what put them through the roof. And obviously we see that with Bad Wolves and stuff. And you know, I'm a kind of guy that's like, I like the deep cuts. I like hearing what you guys do. I don't know. Obviously Disturbed got even bigger because of that fucking Sound of Silence cover. So I don't know. What do I know about covers, man?
Yeah. Hey, teach their own. A lot of people like them. Obviously, Sirius has a whole show based around them, right? The Corridors every night. So, hey, you know, again, teach their own with it. We did this one just because we got asked to do it for. So I just wanted to pay homage to Metallica, my favorite band, and do it the best that we could. I wasn't interested in trying to change anything, and got a gold plaque from it. I always joke around that I had to cover another band song to get my first gold plaque. You know?
Is that
At least you have one.
Yeah. Is that how it came about for Slaughtered too? Were you guys asked to play that?
Yeah, and that one, like, I'm not happy with the way that one turned out at all.
Really?
Especially just in the guitar department. But we were super rushed. I remember we were like in Paris or something, and Mark said, "Hey, we got asked to do this," and we just like, I don't remember exactly how it happened. We had to like record it the day we got back from into America. So there's like really no time to like perfect it, get it good together. And to me, it sounds rushed. And Dime is the hardest guitar player, in my opinion, to sound like.
Yes.
And so, coupled with the fact that we didn't have a lot of time to put it together, and how judged you are trying to sound like Dime and everything, and I'm embarrassed of it, and I don't like the way it came out. But we did get ample time to cover Disposable Heroes, and I think it shows in it. It came out well.
Yeah. Well, as far as covers go, because I feel like Metallica, they had a couple albums just full of covers, and I think they're pretty much spot on note for note too. So maybe that will kind of fueled my bias, because if you hear that Misfits song, or what's another one that was real big?
Turn the Page.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
That one they kind of
That one's
interpreted a little
great.
bit. That's a good one.
Stone Cold Crazy.
Yeah, Stone
that's
Cold Crazy.
that's pretty much spot on too. When you go back, you can listen to. I wouldn't go back and listen to the Queen one, but
Yeah. Am I Evil was good.
Yeah.
see, I got the Kill 'Em All where it had Blitzkrieg and that one you just mentioned.
Am I Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Die My Darling was good. The thing that, because I like the Misfits, the thing that I don't like about the Misfits is everything that I listened to, like when Glenn was still in it, was that it seemed like the production was so shitty. Like he was so it sounded like he was like 15 feet away.
Well, that's that punk attitude, though, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, even for back then, I think that's the deal.
I didn't like it. It just sounded like it was like in somebody's basement. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard.
We're also more Danzig guys, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob? You like Danzig?
I was never a Danzig fan.
Yeah.
I knew Mother just from the video or whatever,
Right.
but no, I never really got into Danzig.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
I
I lost my spot here. Where were
We were talking about the covers.
Master
Tuesday's
of Puppets,
Gone was
right? Yeah.
cool.
What?
Tuesday's Gone. off
Oh,
of
that's
SNL.
Go figure. Leonard Skinner on there.
Yeah. Well, with Pepper and
Jerry
Blues Traveler.
Jerry was in the background. Jerry Cantrell.
Jerry Cantrell and Les Claypool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Popper.
Yeah,
With
I
the
read
harmonica
it.
solo.
Yeah.
To end all harmonica solos.
Yeah, exactly. We got into an argument with him once, didn't we? John Popper?
No, we thought it was a dude that looked like John
was it John
Popper.
Popper?
I was like, John Popper's arguing with us in the parking lot. That's when we had that battle of the bands, and he was like, "Fuck you guys." That's when we did that Pantera cover, that This Love.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He's
see,
like-
now that I wasn't happy with. We don't want to talk about that. And I mean, obviously not to Rob's scale, but we had to do a couple covers. Obviously, you know how it is, Rob, when you're trying to make your music more relatable. You know, we were in a little local band for a couple years, didn't really amount to much, but we still had a good time. But we started the whole Pantera, Metallica stuff, and I remember with His Love, it was so hard for me to do Vinny's shit. Like I wasn't happy at all, but we put our own twist on it. And now looking back in
Kinda
my
had to make it
30s,
work.
feel like, man, I wish I could have done that.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, no, it's not on YouTube.
Yes,
Don't
it
tell
is.
him that.
Link us up. Put the link to the YouTube vid in the description. You know. So
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
people
is that when I
people
had
can
my
check it
hair?
out.
There you go. But I felt like I kind of took the lazy way out, but also at 19, I was like, well, this is the best that I could do. But
You gotta
think-
start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You do have to start somewhere. But I felt like Vinny was like the hardest drummer to play along with. But now looking older with more experience, it's one of the easiest because he just found that groove with Dime. That's
Yeah.
all it was.
Yeah.
You know, of course, like 13 steps is still impossible, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to put my head through the wall because I can't get it. But that's interesting.
You remember, like, one of the first big things we did was we covered "Man in the Box" from Alice
Yep.
in Chains.
Yep.
And
That was
like
at,
we didn't think it was a big deal until
Fairgrounds.
everybody fucking got into it, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like when you're building your local scene, I feel it's so essential just to bring somebody in because they're so much more willing to listen to
Right.
your original shit. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's how it goes. Pepper in some original stuff, but as long as you're doing the covers well,
Yep.
people are going to listen.
Memories.
So,
Shit.
but yeah, about that Vinny thing, you know, it's just his style, his feel
Yeah.
that's hard. Just like them. I mean, they both play difficult stuff, but you could still play. You could still play some riffs. You could still play Vinny's beats, but getting them to sound like those guys is what's most difficult because they're so unique.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's hard. That's hard. And you got to feel like everybody's judging you. Like, oh man, that guy doesn't sound like fucking Metallica, or that doesn't sound like fucking, oh, that drummer sucks. You know what I mean? But at the time, I think we had the attitude and we came across as like we knew what we were doing because you have to. You can't look up there like terrified. You just got to roll with it. You know?
It's usually not as bad on stage or like when you're in the audience. You know,
Oh, yeah.
everybody seems to hate their performance, but like when you're in there and feeling the music and shit, it's not that bad.
I remember we
Right
sat
on.
through Soylent Green waiting for Chimera, and I remember like everybody was like, "This is terrible." And I was like, "Oh, this is so uncomfortable." I think they did Testament or something like that. But
Did
yeah,
they?
that was with. I think you guys were touring with Death Clock for a while, weren't you, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, I think Soil Green was on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that show. I just remember the singer came out and smelled like just ass. It was terrible.
You must have had your morning regiment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I remember Burton. We always talk about Burton Bell on this fucking show.
Here's his Burton.
He every time I see him, I think of Downey, because every time he comes out and he starts headbanging, I just get this whiff of fabric softener every time. I don't know what it is. And if we ever talk to him, I'm gonna ask him, like, dude, are you just like spraying up before you come out? You know, I don't know.
But what song was I? Disposable Heroes got a sidetrack, so I apologize. But yeah, Leper Messiah was fucking awesome. Orion.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to ask you what your favorite instrumental is. It's after this next. After we get through Injustice, we're gonna talk about these instrumentals. But I think that's all I got for fucking. Master of Puppets. Is there anything you wanted to add, Rob, or did we pretty much touch everything?
Just another killer one, man. The intro to Battery and the 3 albums, Lightning, Puppets, and Justice. They all have those 6 intros with Black In, Battery, and Fight Fire with Fire. But just that intro gets you right away, and then Battery hits. It's so killer. So many great riffs. Obviously, Orion. Yeah.
All right.
Thing That Should Not Be.
Yes.
My favorite guitar solo, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that weird wah, dissonant wah, harmonic minor type sound that he's using in there, which he uses a lot of places. Something about this one, which is crazy. It's because that's such a dark song.
And he kind of dives.
You guys picture that solo coming in the way it comes in.
Yeah. Now, with you guys as guitar players, like when you guys hear that, like especially like when you're an amateur still trying to learn, are you picking up on what effects they're using? Because like as a drummer, you're like, oh, okay, he's using the ride right here. I can pick up on that. But like how you said that was your favorite solo, and he had that little creepy thing going. Like, do you guys know? Oh, that's for sure a wah. I can get my shit to sound like that, or like, are you guys using your best judgment?
Back when I first heard it, and tried to learn it, I probably didn't know what was going on. Or now I hear it. Of course, I can tell that it's a wah, stuff like that. But I don't know if I did at the time. I probably just learned it and played it without a wah.
Right.
Sort of thing back then. But I was trying to learn all this stuff back in the day.
Yeah. Me, every time I listen to it, I'm always like picturing how it's played in my mind. So usually, like when I'm ready to go play for the guitar, I was like, at least have an idea. Maybe fix a few notes here and there, but the effects and stuff is really probably the last thing I really think about, if I'm being honest with you, Animal. Yeah.
I don't know how you guys, think it
trying
all
to
the way
figure
through.
out. Yeah.
I'm just embarrassed that I didn't even know that Kirk lazies his way through. Like now I want to go watch some live stuff because I'm not focused.
Because I feel like he's just straight picking everything now.
Really?
If we're talking nowadays, yeah.
Huh.
I don't know.
He's a stone surfer.
But
yeah, good. That's good. That's what I think of him.
It's just crazy because he was like the first guitar hero to me. You know what I mean? And then it's just indifferent now to me. I don't know. God damn it, Kirk.
For years, I felt like Kirk would be the most approachable one in the band, but now I feel like it's Rob.
He's just more into the horror movies now.
Yeah.
Horror movies and surfing. And
obviously, not trying to put you on the spot, Rob, but have you ever met any of these guys from Metallica?
Yeah. This is a cool story. In 2003, we were playing. It was our first time playing this enormous festival called the Download Festival over in Donington, England. And so we get there. It was our first time over in England, and this festival was huge. We did it in 03, 05, and 07. We did the main stage in 07. You can look up footage of it, and I don't know for sure, but we're told there's 90,000 people out there, and it certainly looks like that.
Jesus.
So it's just a huge festival. But in 03 and 05, when we played the smaller tent, the tent still holds 10,000 people. So it's still just this huge tent. But anyway, so we get there and we go to our trailer, which is in like the backstage area, and there's a thing on the wall with all the times, and you're checking out who you want to see that day. Oh, I want to see Machine Head at 3 p.m. Oh, Slayer at 9 on this stage or whatever sort of thing. Anyway, like right after us though, and we were like early in the day, maybe the first or second band in this tent. There was an open slot right after us, which was a question mark. And we're like, I wonder what that is. Anyways, it ended up being Metallica.
Oh
and
God.
so they played right after us. It surprised everybody right on the same stage that we played or whatever. So it was totally awesome. And hung out with them for an hour or two after their set. They were just hanging around back there, talking to anybody. We talked to Lars for like an hour, giving her a Possibility Reason CD. At the time, we had these our laminates, our tour laminates we had a mock-up Ride the Lightning design. It had the chair on it and all that. And then instead of
awesome.
Metallica, it was Chimera in the Metallica font. And I'm not a guy that gets autographs or anything. I just don't really care about it or whatever. But I'm like, I'm here. I'm about to talk to James Hetfield, and I have this laminate on me. I'm going to ask him to sign it. So
yeah.
he looks down at it and he just gives me a nice. As you see that, you know. And so he was cool.
$50.
Talked to Rob forever. He was cool. Talked to Kurt for a sec. And what's thinking back at this too, nobody knew this at the time. Saint Anger hadn't even come out, but they had just filmed Some Kind of Monster.
Oh, no
So all
shit.
that they had just gone through and everything, you couldn't even see it in their faces. Nobody knew that they had just been living with a psychiatrist or whatever for a year and a half, or James had disappeared for whatever it was, 6 or 8 months to go to AA. Nobody knew what was about to happen with Saint Anger coming out, what that snare drum was going to sound like.
Still
So
gives me
it was cool just to look back at that now. They just still seem like Metallica, strong as ever. The set was badass. Just seeing them kind of on a stripped down, smaller stage too.
Yeah, that's gotta
I think
be
they maybe
insane.
only had a full stack each, James and Kirk.
Wow. Do you remember what they played? Like, what was their set list like?
Probably all the classic shit.
Yeah, I don't recall. Because at that point, yeah, it's all just classics.
Yeah.
It's not like when I just went and saw them in Wisconsin a few months ago, and they only played 5 songs from the first 5 albums. Everything else
Really?
was Saint Anger, Hardwired, and Death Magnetic. Yeah,
Wow.
Really?
That is insane.
It's weird when bands.
it was
do-
also the first show of that leg of the tour, so maybe they were trying stuff out. Because I noticed the next night they played a lot more classic songs. So I just in my mind thinking like after the show they were like, maybe that was a little too much new material for me. So, who knows though? But it's cool if they have that jam room and just decide what they're going to play each night.
Yeah.
You know, based on that, and can go over stuff that they want to. That's the dream, you know.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the tent, is there footage of that in the dehumanizing process? That wasn't the same place, was it?
Probably.
Because I remember that big ass tent.
Probably,
you
I
guys
don't
playing.
recall, but I a couple of years ago posted that entire show online. So if you just go to my YouTube channel, Donington 2003, Chimera's entire set from the stage is online. Now I didn't film any of Metallica, but so I don't know if that's on there or not. But
Shit, that's
but our
cool.
show is. Yeah.
All right. Animal
That's cool.
and justice for all, sir.
I'm still like caught up in that moment, just
It is
being
crazy,
like,
right?
yeah, it's so refreshing to hear like a fan's perspective. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the like people you look up to being fans.
Yeah,
oh,
and
my
especially
God.
them being cool with you too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we were talking to Rob for like an hour. I feel like if we ran into this guy, it would be totally chill. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to hear. We've interviewed some.
No,
Go
this
ahead.
is just my phone persona. I'm really a dick.
like in Roxbury, like when the two were partying with that club owner, and then they saw him the next day. He's like, "I don't know who you are," and then did you just grab my ass? You know. I remember that band. I wrestled the bear once. I was talking to them, and it
Yeah.
wasn't really going so well. And I was just like, "Oh, well, tell me a funny
You'd
tour
rather
story."
have wrestled the bear than talk to them?
Yeah,
What'd you
exactly
say?
right. And I was like, "What's one of your favorite stories?" And they were at Donington, and I think it was either Superjoint or the Illegals. I can't remember which Phil and Cart, or was it Down? Either one of them. And I remember they were all sitting in their tent, and Phil walked by, and they're like, "Oh, it's Phil. Let someone say hi." And then they were trying to figure out on how they were going to approach this guy, and all of a sudden they're sitting there, and this peach rolls in the room. Like, what the fuck is this? And then all of a sudden Phil comes in, he goes, "Sorry about the peach," and then he walks away. Like, what a great.
What are you gonna say to Phil? Right?
I know, right? Like, that's okay, sir. And a good day to you, sir. Just it's funny shit like that, you know. It's because you get bored. Like, what's the best part on tour? What's the best city
Yeah.
you've been
If,
to?
if we
you know?
if we start doing more interviews with people, I hope we don't do stock
no,
fucking
we won't.
questions.
We won't allow it. No,
I hope
no,
we
no.
haven't done too many here so far, Rob.
No, it's all good.
All right, Justice, big fat Justicey load. I'm gonna blow all over this
Yeah?
one. Obviously the title track is great. I'm gonna. It's hard not to mention Blacken because I was wanted to go
Dude.
for the deep cuts. But
Oh my God, I
that
love
intro just gets
Blackened.
you hype as fuck.
Da-da-da-da,
Yeah,
da-da-da.
that too. Shortest Straw is fun for me to play. From
Dun-dun-dun.
yeah,
What a fucking intro to that song.
Yeah,
Can I just say how
seriously.
fucking hard that is?
Did
Or
you
not
s-
hard, difficult, but just fucking
That's
heavy.
That's my favorite Metallica song of all time.
no
Shortest
shit,
Straw.
really.
Awesome.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Dun, dun, dun,
awesome.
dun, dun,
Did
dun,
you
dun.
see that?
Ant's favorite album.
Yes,
Yep.
me too.
He's just going right to it, man.
Yeah,
going right
fuck
to it. Did you see that footage of Lars trying to film for Guitar Hero for the CGI, and they were playing Short of Straw? He couldn't even remember how to play it.
Oh, I remember that vaguely.
Yeah, you need. Yeah,
No,
check
I
it.
didn't see that.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube. Like he's got all the little white ball things on. He's wearing all the black, and he's like playing it, and he was getting the timing off of that. He's sitting there snapping. He's like, "Oh, we haven't played this in forever." The next scene of him is in the corner with headphones on, like listening to it because they just haven't played it in so long. But I thought that was real cool.
Yeah.
Short of Straw for me, it just I think it really bridged that album because it brought in the elements of the groove, it brought in the elements of the thrash. The vocals were super clean, just like that whole album. The vocals were just
That's when I really think you kind of start to see him come into his own as the vocalist, as the great vocalist that everybody regards him as.
Pretty good point.
Yeah, I know. That's why I made it.
I know. Harvester of Sorrow, Freedom's of Sanity. That for me, like. I have a habit of not really being able to hold my attention for a whole album all the way straight through. I felt like when the Frayed Ends of Sanity was kind of starting up for me, I was like, but then it just picks you right back up, man.
I always think Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I get that. Dyer's Eve too. One. I'm like looking at the set list. It's
stacked, dude. Yeah. That fucking album is stacked.
3.
Yeah.
Harvester of Sorrow, Short of Straw, and probably Dyer's Eve are my 3.
Oh, really? Ooh. Ivan, what you got, buddy?
Dude, I love the fuck out of 1.
Dude, like, for a commercial
Especially
song, the popular
when
one.
the kick starts,
it still gives me chills.
Yeah.
But I got 1, Harvester of Sorrow, Justice, and Dyer's Eve.
That you guys have both mentioned Harvester of Sorrow.
Yeah.
That might be one of the most evil songs I've ever heard. And it just... I saw a live version of that, and it's just, you feel it, man.
Yeah.
And I always liked Lars' drums in there. I was like...
He gets so much shit, but really he's just playing off of what is there, you know? So. And I love him. I don't care.
And then Eye of the Beholder. Oh, dude. It doesn't matter what you see. I was just like, come on, try not to bang your head to that shit, dude. And then Blackened, come on. And Justice for All, that song is like 9 minutes, and you're like, oh, that's awesome.
And it holds your attention the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't. This one has my favorite instrumental, which is fucking To Live Is to Die. So
yeah.
I don't know. Rob,
what's a deep one?
My favorite instrumental as well. And I was like in 7th grade. I took a trip to Alaska with a buddy and his parents, and on our way back, the plane landed in Vegas, and I don't know if there was too much information there, but anyways, we rented a car and we were going to drive home or something like that. And we stopped at the Taco Bell, and so I'm just a 7th grade kid, and this smoking hot chick pulls into this Taco Bell with a convertible red 5.0 Mustang, top down, just blasting To Live Is to Die. And I had just around this time started getting into Metallica, and I thought that was the coolest fucking thing. And I said, I'm going to do that one day. And so as soon as my first car was a convertible, and I did it. I don't know if I went to a Taco Bell specifically, but I would drive around blasting.
Turns out it was Christy Brinkley from the Vacation movies, and she's just driving around fucking listening to fucking Metallica.
Yeah. Yeah, so I love that song from that moment, and it's my favorite instrumental as well. But so, yeah, you guys mentioned the Short of Straw, that Monsters of Rock performance, like all black and white from Moscow.
Yes.
Chimera performance from that one too. Supposedly there's 1 million people in that crowd.
Dude.
You know, all that, you see that footage, in a year and a half live Metallica, maybe, or wait a minute. I don't know on what video it is, but everybody got those videos on VHS back in the day. But then, dude, the live shit mentioned Purge.
Yes, that's the one I was going to bring up.
The Seattle show where it's, they're on the Justice tour. That is my Bible. That show, everything about that. I wanted to be that.
Oh, yes.
and make a band like that.
Yeah, it's such a powerful fucking performance. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too because that's peak Metallica for me. Like, I don't think it gets any better than that.
Yeah.
My only complaint was that I wish they played these songs full because I think they did like a medley of it.
They did.
I was like, man, I'd rather just hear I'd rather just hear these songs.
I like medleys though, but for Metallica, of course. But I saw Korn. And
they do it too.
I can't remember. It was 2006, 2007. They went they did a medley of all their albums, and I thought it was awesome. And they were to hear "Off of Life Is Peachy," that Mr. Rogers song. To hear that live, I was like, "Holy shit, man!" And then I like when bands can do something like that, but I guess when you see Metallica, you want to hear and see everything the way as it should be. But I thought I should give a shout out to that Korn show. It was awesome.
Nice.
I still love Korn. I'm sorry, I can't let
They
that
surprised me live.
go. Yeah,
Like when they were at what was that they don't do it no more.
Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they were playing on the main stage at Mayhem, like I've never seen Korn live, and they were playing, and like I never really got into their newer stuff.
Yeah.
But dude, they were jamming to like most of their old stuff, dude.
Yep.
And it was
they throw down, and they get a lot of shit because they're like, oh, they're not metal anymore. They're not, dude. Like half the fucking bands around are because of Korn. You know what I mean? And they sound incredible live, man.
That's good.
Yeah.
Rob, I saw that you did like a little. God, is it that middle part to it? To Live Is to Die? Was that for EMG?
Yeah, there was an EMG Metallica challenge back, this is years ago now. I don't know if it was 2010 or something like that, but, oh, dropped the phone. Everybody still there?
We're here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just decided to join it. You know, I didn't care if I wanted or anything, because the package was like you got like an ESP guitar or whatever, so I wasn't really going for that. I just wanted to just do it for fun. And, yeah, did that little To Live Is to Die part, and thought I should have won it, you know?
Yeah, I thought so too. You got my vote. I gave it a thumbs up. Well, that got a pretty good, decent amount of like likes and views on YouTube, right? Was it in like the 30,000?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that like when you think about it, like if you're gonna start building like band, like it'd be cool to do something like that just to bring more exposure to whatever you're gonna do. Like you don't even think about these things at first, and you're like, oh, 30,000 views. Why ain't you doing more shit like this?
Yeah,
maybe that's what we need to do, guys.
Yeah. The big names like Metallica attract views, and crowds attract crowds, and so that's obviously, like we were saying a minute ago, why people a big reason why people cover songs. You know, just to hope get your foot in the door for your own shit.
You know, I think
whatever.
I was talking about Metallica too. If this gets any traction, like I think it just brings everybody in. Like we realize there's so much more in common. You know,
right.
So I don't know. Here's hoping
you can bring views in without just being negative and sharing gossip and all that stuff.
And to talk about instrumentals, like, dude, I really think all of you guys' instrumentals are fucking insane and incredible. I really enjoy
love the
them.
heroic sounding.
Yeah, you like that shit at the end of Pray for All.
Dude,
It's
like you just picture like Superman just like posed, you know, hands on hips and his cape's flapping. It's like fucking it gives me chills, dude. I fucking love that shit.
But God,
Good.
Man,
Glad to hear it.
Implements of Destruction, man. I really, goddamn, I feel like you took everything Metallica did and just took it to the next level. I mean, Heart of It All. I mean, damn, 6 is pretty much an instrumental for the most part. You guys got that like two or 3 minute fucking interlude part. I was like, oh, I can't get enough of it, man. I'm just gonna kiss your ass for a little bit.
Maybe there'll be some more. You don't know, but of course, all of our instrumentals are because of Metallica, and I love Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Is there anybody else got anything to add to this?
Just the precision of Metallica, and Justice for All album, the sound that they have. I'm a guy that loves the production. So many people talk shit about the production. I love it.
Yeah,
wouldn't change a thing about it. The precision of the riffs themselves, the intricacy, the drumming. You know, just how tight everything is. And this is before, and all the editing. You know, that we have access to today. So I mean, they were just on it. They were great at these songs, and it came out that way. Yeah. They're just insane compositions.
They just released is it 30 years now? Yeah, shit, holy shit, the 30th anniversary, and it remastered. I think me and Ivan were talking about this. I was like, I still can't hear the bass.
I was like, wow. That would be my thing. Pick up the bass a little bit. Come on,
give him a little bit of love. Jesus Christ, it's been 30 fucking years. But
I think that's my favorite video from Metallica is one.
Yeah.
That video is fucking awesome.
Start it off, Adam. Give us the Black Album. What you got?
Obviously, have to go with Struggle Within.
Yeah.
A Wolf and Man.
Oh, that's
has always been
a
good one. A favorite of mine. I remember a couple of years ago, I have a black lab, and he does this like really weird thing. Like when he goes out and like onto the deck in the morning or at the old house, he would like stretch out and he would like bring his like little teeth out, and he's like kind of like breathing. And I remember I was getting ready for work one day, and I had that song just on my phone, and A Wolf and Man was on, and he's like looking all like badass like out on my deck, but he's also like a big wuss. That was like the most masculine.
So just like a soundtrack to the.
Yeah.
being crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, I always wanted to like make a video of him like running in slow motion to play the dun 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 dun, you know. I mean, wherever I may roam, it's such a. I hate to. I'm really trying to stay on the deep track thing. I can't.
There's only like 3 deep tracks on here because everybody knows all the fucking songs.
I know, right? God That Failed was good.
Yes,
I love that one.
That's a good deep one.
My Friend of Misery. Holier Than Thou. I think that was such a good little track there.
Yeah, I think that one's probably one of the heavier ones for me on this album.
Yeah. That whole beginning is really cool, like how Lars brings in that snare, and you know what I mean? He's like kind of riding off of the riff, but then like separating it on the every other bar.
You know what's weird? We didn't even bring this up at all, but the lyrics, like, man, Hetfield's just like, his lyrics hit me, you know what I mean? Like, there's one, God, what's the name of this song? Through the Never, where he's just talking about, like, I guess just like time and space, and I was like, man, this shit's pretty deep. I don't know. That just I had to bring that up.
Yeah.
Gotta give him a shout out.
What you, Ivan?
I got, it's probably all the radio shit, man. Like, Nothing Else Matters, Of Wolf and Man, The Unforgiven, Don't Tread on Me. Fucking,
Oh, that's a good one too.
Of course,
God damn.
Through the Never.
Yeah. The acoustics. You're a sucker for those acoustics, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I love that shit
like
too.
Remember when that Slipknot album came out? Was it Volume 3 and they did
Yes.
Vermilion Part 2?
Yeah, dude, I dug it, man. That shit was cool, man.
I would be coming over to getting ready to practice, and this motherfucker would be in the bathroom with that shit like turned all the way up in the shower singing it. I'm like, hell yeah, man.
Either that or taking a dump.
That's impressive. You sound like that, squeezing it out.
How do you feel about these the slower songs on the album, Rob?
I love every song, man.
It didn't bother you? You're not one of them elitists?
No, it didn't bother me. I love being part of the explosion of this record that everybody felt.
Yeah.
You know, like when in the early '90s, just everybody was jamming this. The concerts, that Guns N' Roses tour with the two of them and stuff. Yeah, man, just the success of this and what it did for metal. The doors it opened, for bringing metal more into the mainstream and stuff. Not that I think you know what I mean by that. Just the audience, how
just brought
it
attention to it.
Metalheads together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And huge. Yeah, I love every song. Obviously, the hits, Sabbath True, just can't beat that.
Yeah.
How heavy that is.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Machine Head was
Struggle
playing that
Within.
before the show. Yeah.
Speaking of Machine,
What about Machine Head?
Oh, Machine Head, like we just saw them recently, and when they're getting all the equipment ready and shit, there's a few songs that they always play. One of them was Sabbath True. There's another one, Diary of Madman's, right when they come out. So it's just like once, even when everyone's sitting there waiting around for a band to play, when you play like Metallica, everyone's sitting there singing to each other.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Did you check out the latest Machine Head, Rob? Did you hear that whole Volatile thing? Were you involved in on that?
I heard it, of course. I don't have the album or anything like that. I've heard songs that were on Sirius and stuff like that, but I did hear that. Yeah, the
right. We were
sensation.
Yeah.
But I think like what Mark said, how many like feels or riffs or ideas that we've lifted from Machine Head. It's okay, guys. We don't mind. Thank you for the homage if you'll even give us credit.
Right.
Shit.
No, but those guys, Machine Head have been so great to us. They took us under our wing early on. You guys have heard of the Brown Eye, right?
Yeah, I was thinking
the drink that Rob created that I've helped spread all over the world. One of the coolest things ever. We were in like Austria or something, like 07, 08 or whatever, and Flair's about to go on headline this big festival, and Rob Flynn comes by. He always called me the secret guy because I was also Rob, but he says I just keep it myself and I'm the secret guy. But we always snuck off and drank Brown Eyes or stood in public, whatever. But anyways, he came by our bus and he's like, dude, Flair's going to go on. I got a little something. Come with me. So we go up to the side of the stage and he's got a backpack on. And we get up the side of the stage and he opens up the backpack and he's got a 2-liter of Coke, a bottle of Grey Goose, a sleeve of cups, and a bag of ice. all in this backpack. And we sat on the side of the stage and Carrie come over and all of us drinking Brown Eyes there when I said it was a fucking sweet moment.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that from the DVD because he's sitting there mixing all the drinks. He's like, "Do you know where this finger's been?" You don't even know. He just stirs it. Yeah, dude. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I watched the fucking Dehumanizing Process as much as I've probably watched fucking Anchorman or any of these fucking movies I love. I knew that shit
Really?
back to front, dude. No bullshit. Even those even when the ones that came with the CDs, I used to watch all the time too. I don't know. I just liked watching you guys like record the shit, and
It's always
Cool.
interesting.
it's a nerd
seeing
thing
stuff,
for me. Yeah,
like behind the scenes.
yeah. So
For
shit.
sure. Well, we're all fans of the Vulgar videos and like a year and a half of the life of, or Clip 'em all, that kind of stuff, So yeah, and we were lucky that we had a guy, Todd Bell, that made all our videos and did our artwork that went to high school with us too. So that's why so much of this stuff happened for us, because we're all so close in the same city and had a lot of creative guys around us. From Ben Figgle, who went to high school with us, and obviously he can make records. Todd Bell was into cameras and photography and artwork, and his great friend Garrett, who also worked on all our stuff. Just great creative minds that are skilled in graphic printing and design and all that kind of shit. So we're just lucky to have that around. And Todd was like, "Hey, let's film this stuff." And we're like, "Okay." And he just did it. There wasn't really a budget for it until later on and stuff. But yeah, had that not happened, Chimera probably wouldn't have had half the success that it had. But just being able to be a fly on the wall and see all that stuff, we're all blessed to have had it happen for us.
Well, that was pretty much what would become fucking social media, because it gave you like it was obviously before I think even MySpace and shit, but it gave you a glimpse into like who each person in the band was. Like Jim was this crazy funny guy. You're the guy that fucking Mark was the boss, and you're the guy that's just sitting here, this metal master crafting everything, and it was cool to see everybody had a part to play. And I don't know, it's just I think that's what you got to accomplish with fucking social media now, but not that I'm very fucking sociable either. We kind of stay off that for the most part, I think.
Yeah.
We got to get better at that.
We do. Well, because we feel like
I feel like that's Red's job.
I think
though.
Red. Yeah, I was about to say Red's the social media.
Well,
guy.
when you're tagging bands all the time and you're spreading this, hey guys, give us a like. What do you think below? Like when you've
Feels
got under 100,
disingenuous,
yeah,
right?
exactly. When you've got under 100 likes, like fuck you. Who
Yeah.
are you? But it's just fun, you just, like I said, you want to share the positivity. You want to hopefully get a couple bands that that you can talk to and share these experiences with. Like next month, we're going to be able to interview Corrosion of Conformity. They're playing in Chicago, which would be pretty fucking sweet to talk to them. But and you just hey, you never know.
My first concert ever, Megadeth, 95, and Corrosion of Conformity opened.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So I didn't even know those guys are still playing, and you're about to you're about to interview them.
Yeah, they just came out with a new album. I was checking out a little bit this week. It's it's got that groove, but it almost has more, and I know, but it kind of has that southerny kind of feel, but it's almost kind of like laid back. It doesn't have that sludgy NOLA that I want it to have, but it's also the first listen. You got to give it some time.
Yeah. Shit.
Right on. Hey, what about Noah and the Bleeding Sky? When's that coming out? Did you say?
As far as it goes, he was he's just playing it by ear from what he was telling me. I did ask him about the touring stuff. He said if they do end up touring, might be towards the fall. So he didn't give me a date on the record yet. So I'm kind of curious. Since they got the time to do it, I was like, man, just fucking take your time and make it everything you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. But God damn it, you got me sidetracked again with the
sorry.
Your stories and
I'm
shit.
sorry, I'm a story.
My bad. I'm referring to other episodes. You could have just said, listen to the episode, Rob.
Yeah, don't
You want to know what Noah had to say? Listen to the episode.
Trying to guide this podcast somewhere, Animal, and you're fucking it up for me, man. You're gonna blame it on Rob. How dare you? But dude, to get to the Black Album, the Black Album, like every song has one of them solos, man. Since we're talking about it, like I had to go through and learn each one. Like they just had that expressive, emotive feel to me. I love that shit. The shit that gives you goosebumps, man. Goosebumps.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Black Album like program? It's like the tour book that they were selling on the Black Album tours.
Dude, when I was a kid, I lived down the street from a junkyard, and me and my friends always go there to like break the car windows and stuff like that. And I found one in a trunk.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, they had like live pictures and shit like that.
Oh, goddamn.
I have no idea what that's at right
I got to
now.
go to the junkyards and start breaking some fucking windows, man. I'm missing out on a lot of shit.
Dude,
I
like
didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm looking at it. I think I'm looking at it, at least what I was picturing right now. I can't remember my bookcase here. I'm not sure if this is it, but there was something that came out. Whether it's this or not, I'm not going to waste some time looking through it. But there was something that came out, some book, and in the first couple pages were all write-ups from the press about how the Black Album sucks and they totally sold out and it's all slow. And then they talked a lot about Kirk's solos and how lazy they are, and they're just so wah, there's just wah over every single one or whatever like that. And this is in a book that Metallica published. They wanted to make light of all this negative criticism. And then you turn the page and it's like them in front of a colossal sold out stadium. And then you turn the page and there's another one and another one. And it's just, they're fuck you to say, oh yeah, this is what you thought when you reviewed our record. This is what you thought of the solos and everything. Look at us now.
Yeah.
And look at this success. And I always thought like, whoa, that's awesome. That was before I even knew what that was. I didn't know about journalism and stuff back then when I got this book, or whatever. But it's fucking awesome. But I remember that specifically about the solos. I think the solos are badass too. Exactly like you're saying. Yeah, I had to learn all those too, man, and pick up the wah skills.
Yeah. Like I think every song on there does have a wah, like as far as the solos go. But hey, I think it sounds good.
Yeah.
And if you're just leaving it in one album, I guess that's cool.
I think it was Newstead that said like yeah, we sold out. We sold out every single,
Yeah,
exactly.
True. God damn.
I miss Newstead. I love Rob though too.
Yeah.
But I miss Newstead. Whatever happened with Newstead? Because remember Newstead had that Newstead band.
Newstead is Newstead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, didn't you send
I sent
something?
that to you. Yeah.
I was jamming on that fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
It's
I
good.
liked it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I don't know what happened with that.
That had promise. It was a shame that they just never did anything with it.
Yeah.
They recruited a guitar player from Stain. And,
Is that who that was?
They were going to do some stuff.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know
Is
that.
Stain from Chicago?
I think he's
Midwest somewhere.
Is it Boston?
Yeah.
See.
I think
Boston,
it's
Wow, I was going to
Maybe
say
that's
Michigan.
it.
I was way off.
I feel like, or at least maybe Aaron Lewis. I don't fucking know. Right?
It's amazing what he's
I
doing
think he
now
was-
with Aaron Lewis staying relevant and doing his own
Yeah.
shit. Like, it's super popular.
He's like showing country how
country
country's supposed to be.
Right. He's a little hothead too, man.
Oh, he don't give a fuck.
He'll be drinking, and when he gets a few, he's like, it's off the walls after that.
Oh man.
Yes, Massachusetts. Springfield, Massachusetts.
All this
right on.
useless information I have.
They do seem like a Midwest band, though, so I give you that.
Remember when everyone was big into Stain?
Yeah? Everybody had that fucking
Fucking Break the
Dysfunction
Cycle?
shirt. Or, no, it was Break the Cycle.
Yeah.
With the album cover on it.
Oh
Yeah.
well, whatever. Comes and goes.
Yeah. Rob, what are you listening to now, man? What's been...
Well, honestly, I just rediscovered Stain, and I didn't want to jump into that to change the subject when I asked for their
Shit, go ahead, man.
but no, I literally only thought that they had two records, Break the Cycle and Dysfunction. Okay,
Right.
Like those were the only ones that I had on my iPod, and I loved them, but I just hadn't paid attention in years. And then I got this free trial of Spotify. I'm not a Spotify guy, but I tried it. I'm sitting here putting together Christmas toys a couple months ago, maybe on Christmas Eve, putting together toys in the basement, and I'm trying the Spotify thing. Stain comes on. Dude, every song was fucking killer, and they're from albums I never even knew existed. So I've recently been going back and listening to all the Stain. So, yeah, I love Stain. That's pretty much all I've been listening to for the past month or so. New Bone of Osiris, I just got that.
Oh yeah,
Red's
I've
into
been,
that.
interesting.
been listening to that.
That's interesting. I always get real excited hearing like some of the heavier shit that comes out like in the wintertime because it kind of gets you pumped if there's going to be like any well, now that the Mayhem's gone and Ozfest is gone, like it's going to have to be these own
We
shows.
need
But
more fucking
More
tours
shows.
like that.
I know the problem. It's the funding, man. Like they just ran out of money. It's a shame. Like even with Warped Tour kind of fucking up. Everybody gives shit about Warped Tour. They had a great metal stage for a while or whatever you want to call it. But the Born of Osiris, I think that would be cool to see them live. I don't know of any, like, as we have the Chicago Open Air Festival that's coming to us, Rob, and I mean, like, it's like Tool and Ghost and a couple other, like Gojira.
System of a Down, right? Did you
System
already
of a
say that?
Down, but it
Other than
sucks
That'd
for
be cool.
yeah, it would be cool. The problem is though, it's $150 a day, and it's only 7 bands a day.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's getting a lot of social media like blowback. But I mean, the bands, like, I mean, I think it's just basically the fans are paying for the price tag of System and Tool. That's all it
Oh, for sure.
is.
That's
But
probably
I've
the
never,
main
Yeah.
draw.
I've never seen Tool. I would like to see Tool, but I also don't know if I'd want to see them on.
Dude, it's like we were saying. I think you got to see them on their own tour.
Yeah,
God knows when the fuck that's gonna happen again. But
yeah.
we missed out because we were gonna see him at the United Center over here, and my card maxed out. I couldn't buy the fucking ticket. It was like $600. I tried to get real good tickets to that shit.
Man, those arena shows, those are something else, man, with how much money it is. Like even Metallica's coming to us, coming closer to us in March. And I was just looking up tickets on Spotify, and it was $148 for the cheapest ticket up top.
Really?
Yeah. And that's second market. I understand that, but I want to say they were probably 60 to 80 to begin with.
Damn.
But even for an arena show, it's like, man, I want to be like on the floor. I don't want to be up fucking in the seats, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's just a lot to pay. $150.
It is, man.
For nosebleeds or whatever. Even for a day at a festival, like you said, for the Chicago Open Air, $150. That's a lot per ticket.
Yeah, and plus you got to add on the $40 parking, and then making sure you're getting off work.
Oh man. Yeah,
all
fuck
that
shit.
kind of stuff.
Fuck
Yeah.
Chicago. I'm tired of paying for parking.
I know, yeah, that's the thing you love.
You
Just
got
walking
paid
3
3
miles
in
away.
Chicago. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm ready for baseball, but not for all the prices. Me and Jake are pretty big Cubs fans, and the tickets are just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, Jim gave us some shit when we were fucking up there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Red brought it up, but I don't even remember what he said. I put my fucking Cubs hat away because I'm like, I'm not getting this shit in Cleveland. Fuck that.
It's like, let me shove this up my ass really quick. Yeah.
But Rob, what's something that's kind of like nobody would expect that you like as far as band or maybe a music or anything like that? Anything crazy or off the wall that's not real metal?
Not really. I mean, besides like hip hop, but every metal guy likes some hip hop. I love West Side Connection, Dr. Dre, Snoop, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The West Coast hip hop. I mean, I don't know if you guys think it's weird that I like Christina Aguilera, Fiona Apple.
Fiona Apple's awesome.
Just great singers. Yeah.
Interesting. I never thought that.
Yeah, but nothing too crazy. And then for the most part, I just listen to all the same shit: Pantera, Slayer, Megadeth, Pantera, Sepultura, Metallica. I love Opeth. They're probably my favorite band of like
Opeth
any of the
is
newer
awesome,
bands.
Man.
Yeah.
Newer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the 2000s or whatever.
Right.
I'm looking forward to this new Dream Theater. I don't know if you guys are Dream Theater fans. I haven't bought a Dream Theater record or been into them since Images and Words, which is probably in the mid-90s or whatever. But Andel's always talked about Dream Theater throughout the years, and they just kind of eluded me or whatever. But I've been hearing a couple songs like I'm Serious and stuff, and it sounds pretty cool. I'm going to check that out.
I think I had one. I think I had Train of Thought.
Yep. As I borrowed that from you.
I think the thing that got me into that one was As I Am.
Yep.
Everything else. To me, Dream Theater, yeah, they're real technical, but I think there's a lot of cheese in that music, especially early albums. But
cheese or cheating? What'd you say?
Cheese. There's a lot of cheese.
Cheese. Yeah, I have a hard time getting into vocalists like that. I don't really like any bands with clean singing like that. But for that type of thing. But I kind of just don't really listen to it. I'm just listening to Petrucci and.
Yeah, just the guitar aspect and just the technical master, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never struck me. I mean, I respect that. It's like one of those bands. Like I know of them, I respect them, but it's just I guess I've never really also given them the time.
Yeah, I didn't have it either. I gotta probably sit down and give them a good listen.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird because I feel like music nowadays is really a blend between fucking Dream Theater and Meshuggah with this genty stuff. Because it used to be everybody was inspired by the Metallica and the Panteras, and you saw that early on. And now I feel like that this is the territory we're in.
Yeah.
So does that make sense to you? Would you agree with that, Animal?
I feel like
I feel like that's not a full yes.
There's still some bands that are trying to hold it down. Like I know you're gonna look at me, but like you look at the Sleep. I feel like the Sleep. I know.
God
He
damn it.
always brings that
I do
up.
because it's kind of like the only thing I've got to back me up. But there's still good metal out there. But then like you listen to the Attilas. Like Attila is huge, and they've got that genty kind of feel. Like you listen to Born of Osiris, like we were talking about. They've got that genty kind of feel. Like I almost feel like in the metal scene right now, if you don't have more than 7 strings, you're a pussy. That's kind of the way it's being portrayed, unfortunately.
Maybe this is the time to bring it back.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, could be. I'm a very.
I tried. I don't know if you guys heard this album called Total Destruction. I tried to tell them that you don't have to be supposed to be on a 7 string, but
Shameless self-promotion.
Maybe they were right. Maybe they're outshining.
No, dude, that's the shit I want more of. God damn it. This is a whole nother thing. I'm not even going to get into this right now because this is a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I went to, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I went to see, it was Attila, Suicide Silence, and, oh God, I can't even remember, some other genty type of band. I can't remember. But like I'm just standing there, and I'm 32. I feel like I'm the oldest guy there, right?
For sure, obviously.
Yeah, and it's just like I just can't get into it. Like,
dude, if I'm describing it, I don't think there's really songs there. It's just fucking riffs. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what it
there's
is.
no structure or anything. There's no hooks anymore.
Right.
I don't know. That's my take. What the fuck do I know?
And it was I was just meeting a friend up there, and he was real into Suicide Silence, and I haven't really given them a huge chance ever since Eddie took over. So I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And I just felt so like, well, Suicide Silence, musically they played wonderfully, but the other bands that were playing, like with Attila, I mean, I got my ass kicked, man. I was like, I did not expect to be so, everybody was into it. And everything is just so synchronized. Like, and like, it just almost felt like it wasn't quite off or on time for me, like with the triggers and everything like that. It just felt like it was like a sloppy production. And I know Attila's
a lot of bands do that shit where it's just audio. They're playing like tracks in the back, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not for me. There's things out there that I don't know. Like sitting there, I was like, I'm really out of this. What's popular? You know what I mean now? And I just felt.
Dude, back when Mayhem had those fucking stages before they got to the main one, I was standing in line. I got all the way to the front. And I'm like, I asked the dude next to me. I was like, "Who's playing next?" He's like, "Suicide Silence." I was like, "Fuck, I'm on the wrong stage." And then, of course, they had Five Finger on the other stage, and that's who I wanted to check out at first. So I was like, I got all the way in the back. So I don't really have good memories of fucking Suicide Silence.
Was that the year that Hell Yeah was playing too?
It could be.
Because if it was
that's the year that I think Mastodon fucking opened the main stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And now that was terrible when they used to do that at those Mayhem festivals and stuff, is that they would have the opening band for main stage start while the last
everything overlapped,
playing.
right?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But I miss Mayhem. Mayhem was great.
We ain't got nowhere to go anymore.
There's a million things.
When you guys said you saw Korn at Mayhem, was that in 2010 when Chimera was on it?
Yeah.
Because I remember Chicago. I remember playing Chicago.
I think the one I was talking about was like the year before the last one. So 15 was 16.
Oh, okay.
It was later for
so
him.
it's been going, but it's not happening anymore.
No,
Mayhem's
Mayhem's
over?
completely done. Yeah, it's
Damn,
been
I didn't
done
know
for
you
a
guys
few
played
years.
fucking Mayhem. I'm upset. I'm kicking myself in the ass for shit that happened.
I don't think I
8 years
saw you and I didn't go to that one, Ivan, in 2010. I think it was.
Yeah, it was Korn, Five Finger.
Yeah.
Who else? Whitechapel.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh man,
Shadow
I gotta
Fall.
see Whitechapel.
Was that wasn't that King Diamond was on that year too?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar.
In 2010.
Hatebreed.
Dude, was that the
Corn
year that
Zombie,
Betrayed
that's
You?
what it was.
Because I
Corn
remember
and Zombie.
fucking, was that one of the years?
Yeah, Rob Zombie was on that
Yeah,
one?
Betray
Yeah.
You, Norma Jean, Shadows Fall, Winds of Plague, In This
Yeah.
Moment. Yeah. In This Moment, man. Like, big shout out to them. They're still they're fucking killing it now, man.
Oh, they're huge, right?
They're huge.
Did you hear about Shadows Fall?
What about them?
I think it was Shadows Fall. I thought I saw a tweet that like they had to go on hiatus or something like that because people just stopped.
we
the
shared
drummer
that.
said, yeah.
Was it?
That was us.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm not fucking up.
Yeah.
But,
Bittner said that they kind of wore out their welcome, essentially. I remember that. Like, there was a day that Warped Tour was playing in Noblesville, and Shadows Fall was playing at that Mojo's in Joliet, and I went to go see, and I mean, there was nobody there.
Really?
At the door, they said they brought in less than 100 people.
Holy
That was
shit.
bad. I was like, shit, man,
That's a
felt like a
shame.
local
Like-
show. And I remember they were out talking, and Brian said something like, yeah, we're also competing with Warped Tour. And he's like, maybe it's just getting near the end. I'm like, no.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that day. I remember that day because I was in trouble with my family members.
You're
'cause
always
they
in
were-
trouble. Isn't
I
it?
am.
What
That's
you're
just how I live my
fucking telling me.
life. Bon Jovi was playing at Soldier Field that day, and they had bought me a ticket to go with them, and I pieced out to go to this. I'm going to Mayhem, man.
You didn't want to have a nice day?
No. Oh, my God. I forgot about that song. No, I didn't want to wear studded jeans to fit in, you know?
Jesus.
No, that Korn show I went to, though, I went to see Korn. They played their first album in its entirety a couple of years ago at Aragon.
really?
That was cool.
Huh.
I enjoyed that.
That's
I bought
sweet.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You don't really see shit like that too much. I don't know. I dig that.
Yeah. Well, the last show we went, I think this was Ozfest, though. You remember when Dragon Force played?
Yes, 05.
Was fucking... Did Hatebreed play after that?
Oh, on the main stage.
Did we even stay the whole time? 'Cause
No,
I
we
think
left.
I think we left after Disturbed, but fucking Hatebreed. Thank God for Hatebreed. Otherwise, I probably would have hated that show. Because I was not feeling Dragon Force at all.
No, Dragon, they got a huge following. It's just a different.
I wish we had a bigger following so we could turn people on to like better bands, such as somebody that came out with an album called Total Destruction. I think they're called The Elite. I could do
Heard
that
of
too.
Heard of him.
But shit, man, I don't know. man, it's almost been 2 hours. We could talk about this shit all day, but you know, well, all right, we'll wrap this up, man. Plug all your social medias and shit, dude, and hopefully this will find a bigger audience for you, help you out.
Yeah. Well, everybody can find me at pretty much Rob Arnold World, whatever, you know. So Twitter, Rob Arnold World, Instagram, Rob Arnold World, Facebook, Rob Arnold or Rob Arnold World. At robarnoldworld.com, you can find out there's an Elite page there. There's also Elite Music World on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I got a new album with a project called The Disaster. That's also available through Rob Arnold World, and also Disaster Cleveland on Facebook. So basically, I mean, if you were just anybody that wants to find me or find any of my stuff, if you just Google Rob Arnold or Rob Arnold World, all that stuff should come up. And like we've been talking about, Jake, maybe in a month or so we can get together with TJ and just kind of talk all things Elite or whatever, you know, whatever's clever. I'm down.
Yeah, well, just let us know, because I got shut down from work all of March, so I'm fucking open. Maybe I'll just knock on your guys' door and you guys want to go get some pizza. But
right. What kind of work just shuts down for a month?
It's Ford. we're doing a rebuild on our factory. So if you guys are in the market for a Ford, I can generate you guys a pin if you'd like to upgrade your cars. I could get you my discount.
What was that? I'm sorry. What was it? What did you say?
If you're looking in the market for a new car, man, if you're looking for Ford, I could hook you up with a pin that we get you the employee discount.
Really? Like a pin?
Yeah, it's like because when you do it, if you go through the dealership and shit, they'll ask if you say I think it's called the A plan. So you say I know this guy, he works at Ford, and what they do is they type in a pin. It's like a 4-digit pin, and I could So it's just like a code for them. That way you get the best price.
Right on. Okay, and you're just offering that to me or to anyone?
Well, let's just say it's offered to the elite of the elite. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Everybody else listening, this doesn't apply to you. Not unless you assholes start going out and fucking liking our shit and sharing it.
Oh my god! Ford would love that. Ford starts getting tagged up.
Dude, if I ever get to the point where I can start going on tour, if they'll pay me to wear their shit, I will do it.
You slut.
Dude, I gotta have a retirement plan going.
Yeah, Ivan's a diesel mechanic.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing my fucking work clothes right now.
And then what do you do, sir?
Work for Schneider.
I manage a couple medical practices for the area and cardiology and family practice and stuff. So we're all boring stiffs by day, doing this by night. Well, actually during the day, because it's the only fucking time we can get together. We do this every
You guys have
weekend.
to go to work after this, so
we do. Yeah, we're gonna double tonight. Ivan's going in, but it is what it is, man. Got to pay the bills.
Right.
I hear you.
Well, I feel like
the Piper.
Yeah.
Well, keep that Ford thing in mind, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know, dude. There's no bullshit. Hey, if TJ's in the market or Austin, you let me know. You just hit me up.
Okay.
You'll be driving dad vans in no time.
But yeah, let us if you guys get a date, let us know, because we'll start clearing out our schedule and shit. And then, if you got some studio time open in March, maybe we could set something up too.
What, for like recording?
Yeah, if you got some time, I think it'd be cool. I got some riffs.
What are you looking to record?
I got a few songs I've been kind of demoing, just shit around the house, like some rock songs. I got some acoustic songs, and maybe if nothing else, just for the fucking experience of hanging out and doing it and seeing how you work it. I think it'd be fucking beneficial if you got the time.
We'll
talk after this, but we cut it off there. We started talking some business, so y'all motherfuckers don't get to hear that shit. But goddamn, was that fun! 2 hours, and the way it seemed, we could have talked for even longer. But cool fucking dude, man. The fact that he knows my name is insane to me. And like I said, we didn't talk too much about the Elite yet. I'm trying to set up a day to where we get TJ in on this shit. Oh man, I don't know. Austin, you're probably gonna hear this. Your ass is coming on next. We're gonna get you somehow. Once you clear out that busy ass schedule of yours, all those fucking bands you're playing in. It's ridiculous. Pick one. It's too hard to keep track. So again, one last time, if you guys have any questions you wanna ask these guys, we'll try and reach out, get some of your answers. But like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that shit. Rate and review us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, all that bullshit. If you want to hear it on SoundCloud, let us know. We'll fucking start putting that shit on there. Otherwise, till next time, you motherfuckers be cool.